administer the oath. So you lay your left hand here and raise your right hand high.
I,
Call your full name.
Sekous Damate Conneh,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that my testimony
that my testimony
I have come to give
I have come to give
to the TRC of Liberia
to the TRC of Liberia
is the truth
is the truth
and nothing but the whole truth.
and nothing but the whole truth.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Mr. Witness, good morning and welcome. On behalf of the Commission, we want to thank you very kindly for positively responding to the invitation of the Commission to come and support the work for peace and reconciliation in our country. As you know, after a very long period of conflict, the parties to the Accra Agreement, of which your institution was a signatory, agreed that Liberians should have the opportunity where we can freely express ourselves, review the past, learn from the mistakes of the past, and then find a way to move forward. And we at the TRC, we find it to be in line with the saying of our old people, that you have to sit down on the old mat to plait the new one. And so basically, this process has been going on, and we are very happy that you have come today to share your experience, to explain your role, and to tell us what you think about peace and reconciliation, and if possible, to advance some recommendations to the Commission. Because you were involved as the leader of one of the factions, and you participated in the elections, the Commission thought that you'd be a good person to come and help us understand the past. So it was against that background that we invited you to come and share with us. So we say thank you, and you are most welcome.
Thank you.
At this time, I will take the opportunity to introduce the commissioners to you. And after that, then you will move into your presentation. You may say a little bit about yourself, if you care to, and then you may remain seated, or you can even use the podium at the back. The choice is here. At the end of the panel on the right is Commissioner Sheikh Kafuma Conneh. Next to him is Commissioner Per Brown Bull. Next to him, to her, is Commissioner Umu Sila. And then immediate at my right is Commissioner Dede Dolope. To my left is Commissioner John Stewart. And I am Jerome Verdier. We say thanks for coming. You are most welcome. It's all yours.
Thank you. The speaker still not working. Huh? Yeah, I think that. Hello. It's okay. Mr. Chairman and members of the TRC, members of the international community, fellow Liberian, ladies and gentlemen, I am very delighted and honored to appear before you today as a major actor and a stakeholder in Liberia. Since I assumed the leadership of law, a movement that was organized by Liberians that were forced to leave their country of birth as a result of despoted and tyrannic regime headed by Mr. Charles Taylor. A war crime inductees standing trial in The Hague for crime against humanity. I am also moved that the process I helped to put together in Ghana in 2003 is now yielding the expected result, as it will lead to the positive healing of our catastrophe in our country once and for all. As I stand here today before God and men, having sworn to the Holy Quran, I now assure you that I am going to sincerely and categorically state my involvement and my role in a war that I participated as a result of necessity and considered by us and many well-meaning Liberians as a necessary evil, an evil that eventually ushered in a participatory democracy. This country has been obtained for since its foundation some 161 years ago. Before deliberating further, we would like to express our deepest sympathy to those Liberian and foreign friends that may have been harmed during the entire process, as these events were never sanctioned by any well-meaning Liberian that was in leadership. As for every one of you know that law as a resistance movement did not target any specific tribe or group in the execution of the war, as this can be authenticated by International Contact Group on Liberia, ICGL, report on Liberia in 2003. But we are convinced that war in any form or shape always has side effects. Mr. Chairman, members of the TRC, and fellow compatriots, this commission was created by Liberians and aided by international peace builder as a medium of confession and a place to ask for forgiveness for the betterment of our holy matrimony. As I stand before you, I am under obligation to say nothing but the truth and set the record straight, as opposed to a previous speaker who gave distorted information about himself and the organization. I shall deal with the details of these distortions during the question and answer period. On the 1st of December 2000, the fighter of early Aradi, under the command of the Chief of Staff, General Charles Den, the late, wrote a resolution denouncing the Mohammed Jomande leadership, thereby making me the leader of the organization. Prior to my ascendancy as a leader, I previously served as an executive member. I decided to accept the responsibility in order to be part of history, a positive history that has transformed our country for the better, where all of us as Liberians will return home in dignity from prolonged objective of taking And the statement constitutes nothing but the truth to the best of my recollection. You may now give your question and I shall be prepared to answer them if you wish. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we beg you, don't clap next time, please. Mr. Witness, I want to thank you very much for your presentation, which underscored a very important role you played in helping to bring peace to Liberia as leader of the now defunct LURD, and how the objective was to restore democracy and see the exit of former President Taylor. And at the moment that happened, LURD dissolved itself and you authorized all the forces to disarm and surrender all the heavy weapons to ECOMOG, or the force at the time. I want to thank you very much for coming and for making this presentation. Commissioners will ask you questions.
You're welcome.
Okay, some of the questions will be meant for you to throw light. Some of the questions will be meant to understand in more details what happened. Some of the questions will be for clarification. But to begin with, can you tell us a little bit of Charles Dent? Who was he? Where is he now, if he's still alive?
Charles Dent is dead, as I told you in my presentation. And he was the former chief of staff of LURD. And he's the one that even wrote a resolution asking for my leadership. I met the structure there. And as you know, he had previous leader. So
I'd like to ask a question also which is preliminary. Were you ever or usually on the front of fighting men and women of LURD?
I wasn't on the phone for fighting men, but in the period of the war, I used to live in Benjamin, not international. Met me in Benjamin. We went down just to locally had an invitation from LURD. He delivered him at Benjamin. I was there. And I used to be there. I didn't go to Poland. I didn't go any other place. I used to be there to supervise the bossman. We had chief of staff. I used to, take care of the day-to-day activities on the front line.
So the chief of staff was the most senior person on the front line,
He was the most senior person.
and he was Charles Dent,
Yeah,
and he's dead.
he's there.
Was there a deputy?
Yes, the deputy is also dead. He's from Cuba. Sayusha of Conneh, that's Cuba. He was the deputy.
And the third person in line?
Yeah, we had third person. Food, yeah. The third person.
He is alive.
It's alive.
Okay, thank you. And the next thing, all the heavy weapons were surrendered to ECOMOG.
Only definitely.
The army was
Pakistan contingent at that number.
Do you name those heavy weapons, or do you have the history?
Yeah, we had a PZT that was surrendered. We had an 81 millimeter that was surrendered. And we have AA that was surrendered. And this one that was the weapon.
Thank you. Commissioner Sheikh, Governor Conneh will lead the questioning. how the leadership structure will begin from there. You said the chief of staff and deputy chief of staff all died. But then died in the battlefront. They died naturally.
The chief of staff died on the battlefield, but the deputy chief of staff died had a natural death just about around the recent time. He led the revolution.
You also said that the organization was established as a result of necessity. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, the whole world wanted just about at the time. People were suffering, people were dying. The entire world wanted just about, including the great United States, wanted just about. And over 500,000 people could not come back home because of Chancellor ruling himself.
So your target was only for Mr. Taylor to leave the country as you left the country.
Exactly. So we have peace, so we have democracy, so we have reconciliation in ourselves.
Dr. Hotel, that I insisted that he too should leave the country. They say necessity that caused you to organize could also encourage him to do similar thing if he can come back home. You understand what I'm saying? You were not pleased because you find yourself in a displaced camp. Your freedom of every kind was restricted. You were not satisfied of being displaced and a refugee. And do you think any other person can feel certified as displaced or refugee the same way?
Yeah, but why would somebody think that way if everybody is free to come to the country and there's no, we don't have problem, we have democracy in place, we have a peaceful nation, and why would anybody think that they're being stopped from coming here? Everybody is free to come to their country. This is what we fought for. Everybody is enjoying that. And you see people coming from America all over the world coming back home every day. So nobody will have the cost of regrouping or want to come back home. I was not talking about only me. I'm talking about over 500,000 people that could not come.
You made mention of a speaker who previously appeared before the commission, and you said he gave distorted information about himself and the organization. Who are you referring to?
Joe
And what
Wally.
was the distorted?
I did call his name.
Pardon me?
I did call his name. I said Joe Wally.
Joe Wally. And what was the distortion?
Yeah, he was saying that he talked to an American, a British captain on a satellite phone, and I was there. We didn't witness that, so I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't witness that, so yeah.
You said that you led the organization from Vonjama, Lofa County, to the capital city of Monrovia. Can you tell us when you took over the leadership and what was the organization at the time? Where was the organization at the time and when you took over the leadership of the organization?
I told you that I took over the organization 2000 and from Vonjama. And the previous leadership were able to take the organization to Vonjama, and I took it from Vonjama to Monrovia.
You also said that you stay in the bush you were in the bush when there was an attempt to replace you once. Now, let me quote just what you said. August 22, 2008, when Mr. Joe Wallet appeared before your honorable body in this same hall and said that they planned while we were still in the bush to have me replaced once we had entered Monrovia. Their actions and utterances at the time were inimical to the smooth implementation of the most important components of the peace process. Are you saying that the plan were correct, that the intent was to remove you from office but was inimical to the process?
Exactly so. What would be the reason of changing a leader when the war is over, when we are in Monrovia, when we are discussing disarmament? And people went against me only because I was on track. People went against me only because I wanted peace and wanted democracy and I wanted disarmament, and people didn't want that.
You made mention of invitation received from the Interfaith Mediation Council. I know you are referring to the Interreligious Council of Liberia and that of Sierra Leone. Is that one you're talking about?
Yeah, you can attest to that because you are in Freetown.
Is it the same meeting where your representative were also able to meet with the ECOWAS parliamentarian?
Exactly. And our position was made very clear.
There are many areas where finger of accusations have been pointed at as acts perpetrated by your organization. In answering to a question propounded to you by the chairman, you said you were not in the battlefront, but you were in Vanjuma. So I'm asking you questions whether you are aware of a massacre that allegedly took place on the 9th of June 2002, where General Ofori Dia, alias Iron Jacket, is reported to have massacred young men and women in Bopulu because they were accused of being government sympathizers?
That was not reported to me. I never heard that. Because we were not targeting anybody. We had a lot of former government soldiers in Vonjama. Some of them were even my bodyguard. And we were not targeting anybody because you fought for Chancellor. Our objective was for Chancellor to leave.
It is also reported that your men and women in arms were engaged in forced labor, forcing civilians to take arms and ammunition from one area to another, as well as from Guinea to Liberia. What do you have to say about this allegation?
I'm not aware of that. From Guinea to Liberia, I'm not aware of that. Civilians were not coming to Guinea. So I'm not aware of that.
But did you ever heard of similar thing going on?
No, I never heard about that. The boys have vehicle, they have vehicle and they were transporting their own arm and ammunition.
It is also alleged that your men were engaged a rampant looting of civilian properties and forcing them also to take those loans to carry it from Guinea, from Liberia to Guinea, and from Guinea to Liberia.
I'm not aware of that. The only report I got was the Freeport incident, and people took rice and they gave it to the civilian. It was not even so. That's the only report I got. Rice was taken from the Freeport and were given to civilian at the Bourgeois Island. Some were taken to Birmingham for the people to eat because the people were hungry.
Was Lord order
Hello, audience.
Yes.
If you're walking out, please do that quietly.
Can you tell us what was the composition of Lord fighters?
Confrontation?
Yeah, composition. What you have foreign nationals, you have Liberians,
No.
you have...
No, already comprises of Liberian. Yeah, and were Liberian that wanted to come back home.
It is alleged that Kamanjo from Sierra Leone were major player in your fighting forces.
Komanja could not help their own country. How would they help us? We dissolved early RD because early RD base were in Liberia, and we dissolved the early RD base in Liberia. And Komanja couldn't handle that. How would they help us? We didn't need any help from Kamanjo. Huh?
You took oath on the Holy Quran, which is the Holy Scripture of Islam.
That I know.
And I know you are aware of the spiritual dynamic force of the Quran. Are you telling us that what you say in your statement and the answers you have just given are all true
and correct?
Nothing but truth?
True and correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Damate Conneh, good morning. I'm Commissioner Pearl Brown-Bull. You said you joined LERD as a leader in 2000, but from our information in the first, one of the founders of LERD, they told us how you became the leader. There was one, Mr. Chumande. Are you aware of Mr. Chumande? Yeah?
Yes.
He was one of the leaders first, and you succeeded him in terms of bringing in the money?
Yeah, he didn't bring money to me, but he brought money, I think, to the organization. I wasn't chairman at that time.
Yes, but the organization is not Sekous Damate Conneh.
Yeah, but...
We want to realize that the organization made you.
Yes.
You are aware of Asha Conneh?
Yeah, I know Asha Conneh.
Who is she? And what relationship she bears to you and the organization?
Say that again.
What relationship she bears to you and the organization of LERD in its formative years, 1999 to 2003?
Yeah, she was also an executive member of LERD, and she used to be my wife.
Okay, she used to be, so you know, Lord, she's your ex-wife.
Yeah, she's my ex-wife.
All right, the facts revealed, and that's why you can say whether or not that it was Asha Conneh who gave LERD money and support that the organization of LERD, the top people wanted LERD. I wanted her to be the leader, but because of the tradition that she said, well, you know, for our tradition, give it to my husband. Is that true?
Yeah, I was not part of that, and law were not dealing with traditional things, and I can tell you Asha was executive member of law. She played a major role. But
She played a major role
She played a major role, but
and told them to give it to you.
No, we have not come to that. The fighter, under the leadership of Charles, they officially wrote a resolution.
Under the leadership of
Charles
Charles.
then,
Okay.
Jumande as a chairman, Charles then as a chief of staff, wrote a resolution addressed to me appointing me as chairman.
Now, could you just, before we go a little further, could you just tell us what was your role as chairman? Because, you know, you talk here, but you really haven't told us your real role in this thing. So could you please tell us, as chairman for Lord during that period, what was your role? And where did you travel, where did you go? As the chairman, please tell us your role.
As a chairman, I used to live in Fonjama to administer most of the activities of LURD.
The militia, the military, as well as the executive administrative?
Yeah, the executive administrative, you know, didn't want to come to Fonjama. And some of them were in Conakry, some of them were in Sierra Leone, some of them were in Ghana. And I was in Fonjama because I wanted to make sure Chancellor is out. I was very determined.
All right.
I was very courageous. I was very determined.
You are very committed. Do you know, as the leader and the chief administrator and the head of the military and all, do you know your commanders and the different places they were fighting, they were posted to get Taylor out?
Yeah.
Because he was in the mansion, executive mansion, White House or White Flower.
The chief of staff of the army was there to monitor the army, and I kept talking to him that, look, make sure don't target anybody, even anybody surrounded to you, leave them alone. We want Taylor out. And that was our objective.
But do you think that's what they did? That what they did?
Yeah, but anybody who did anything, I think you have the power, you have some authority. Let her come here and tell her.
Okay, anybody, the reason why we asked this question, because we have put you now in the center of everything. You were the leader, as you said. You said, I asked you what were your functions. You were over the generals and everything. Your objective was to get Charles Taylor or Otto Monrovia as well, either to his house or the surrounding wherever he is. I place you here, the witness, on January 8, 2003. In fact, Reverend Jared Meyer Walker, superintendent, I think he's former now, superintendent of Lord Carey Mission, testified on the first day of opening live over Radio 2 and said that Lord used the Lord Carey Baptist Mission that was formed in 1907 for boys and girls. That have been almost 100 years now. Lord used the facility Lord Carey Mission to store the ammunition as an army base. That's number one. Armory. They burned down the administrative building that worth $100,000 and people were killed. Now, in view of that, I'm sure as the chairman for head of LURD, you are aware of the international violation of international humanitarian law that you should not go to schools to use school buildings, to use students, and to store your armory. So are you aware of the international violation, not less than the Liberian violation? Are you aware of that? Did you tell them about that?
I'm not aware. And also, I can tell you.
You're not aware?
Yeah, if a minister carry on corruption, the president is not liable.
Okay, he brought us photos. Mr. Damate, Conneh,
my photo.
He brought that your photo. Now we put you as the leader. You came here and you said you were the leader of LURD, and you gave the period for which you served, and you gave what was your objective. He presented to us pictures of the place. He presented the Sekous. And the administrative building is down. Not only that.
Okay, to all of our viewers, those of you watching this broadcast. We are currently airing this on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Many of you have asked us for the video. One easy way we can get the video to everybody is by putting it on YouTube. So some of you are watching it currently on Facebook, where there is a YouTube line or channel link attached to the video on Facebook. All we need you to do is to go on there and subscribe. Just go on there and subscribe. And we are putting most of the video up there, but they will be live. So we encourage you to go on there and subscribe. Just subscribe and have access to that YouTube channel. It's called The Light. If you can't find it, then the link is on Facebook. We just share all over the place so that Liberians can have access to some of the videos as it relate to atrocity being committed that was carried out in Liberia, and listening to the actual perpetrators. Now we're having a situation where some of the warlords are now going, where we stay in the absence of them with a court be established. Well, these and many more right here on Roman Christian Radio and TV. Let's go back to Mr. Sekous Damate, Conneh.
He presented also the letter that he wrote you that was published in the newspaper for public knowledge.
Was I in the country?
He a letter that you are writing now. I'm saying to you, this is your first time hearing it.
I didn't receive that letter.
Is this your first time hearing that?
It was never reported to me. I'm telling you, the chief of staff will be the best person. I haven't been to Lakiri, and nobody told me that. The chief of staff will be the best person to explain that.
All right, the chief of staff will be the best person for the liability for you who they had, and you enrolled for it. They never heard about it.
The head will not always be responsible for everything. Everybody is answerable for your own thing. The president is not responsible for minister mistake.
I submit to you, Mr. Conneh, you just proclaimed that you were the head of LERD.
Audience, please.
You gave the period, and
LURD came to put democracy into place, and everybody had their own function in the organization. This was not a dictator organization. Everybody has a right, everybody has a function. We have an executive member that take decision together, and nobody can answer question for nobody in this organization. And we fought for democracy, and you know, when you're introducing democracy, you don't impose anything on somebody for somebody else.
Democracy is different from the rule of law.
Yeah.
All right. Your chief of staff may be responsible, whoever responsible, but they have something called the principal and the authority. Okay. The next.
But who knows whether that plane didn't get burned in 1990? Is there any proof? That's why the chief of staff is the best person, because I wasn't there. A war being literally around here since 1990.
Mr. Conneh,
yeah.
The thing there, the property there, and he brought pictures. And if you say this is your first time hearing, it's unfortunate that none of your people told you that since January 8 when he testified. Secondly,
the function of beautiful Christian Broadcasting Network.
We observe also witness testified
a beautiful Christian broadcasting
here in this Centennial Pavilion.
This is Roman Christian Radio,
who is
the function of beautiful
say
Christian
that
Broadcasting Network.
Had a marking key.
Roman Christian Radio, the function
and the location where they testify, where it occurred, and even
this is Roman Christian Radio.
That's why I asked you whether you know your generals and you know your officers. Because if you know your officers, and if they tell you something, you'll be able to say that is my officer. Anyway,
the fountain of beautiful Christian
broadcasting. The Lord rebels attacked Arlington and put most of the residents outside of their houses. The rebel told them to play a game with their lives. He said they were going to prepare a paper, and anyone who choose will be your lucky ticket. That means if you choose one number, the odd numbers, that means you will die, they will kill you. If you choose the even number, then they will mark you. So they get you to mark you so they can go to show to tailor what Lord has done. So this particular witness got a number to mark, and they mark her on her chest, all over her chest deep, and she sat right there and testified and showed the marks. You know, the camera took it up and it was live. So are you aware of that? And the person who did it was one cassette from Lord. Even she was able to identify one of the persons who did it. So are you aware that your people were also playing these games of marking people, and if you take odd number, they will kill them?
I'm not aware of that. It's so good she can identify the cassette, and cassette will be the best person to come there and testify that.
Audience, please. Audience, please.
Mr. Hearing Officer, just give me a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, for the very last time ever, if we hear what we heard again, this session will be suspended, and henceforth we'll hold the hearings in camera. And attendance will be by invitation only. You have to go to TRC and get an invitation before you come. If we hear that outburst again, that's what will happen. Because it appears that we come to crash it ourselves. You come to enjoy yourself. You don't come to listen and respect the man on the stand. We will not tolerate that. If that happens again, this is notice to the entire public. We will come here or we stay at our offices and do the hearings. You have no role to play. If you have to come, you go to TRC, you get a pass before you come here. The choice is yours. Mr. Witness, my deepest apology for that interruption.
Thank you.
Mr. Witness, apparently you were the chair of Lord, but you were not aware of really what was going on, according to your answer. However, were you aware of who were some of your members, if I call them? Are you aware of Ase Nyambo as the director of war? Were you aware of him? Know him?
Yes, I know Ase Nyambo.
He was as director of war, Ase Nyambo. General Philip Kamara, were you aware of him? Do you know him?
Yes, he was logistics officer.
General Charles Dent.
Former chief of staff, the late chief of staff.
Colonel Morris J. Dolly. Francine Jakate and Abraham Kita, you are aware of them? You know them?
Yeah, some of them.
And they served in the position when you were chairman?
Yeah, but Ase Nyambo was not director of war when they were chairman.
What was the position of Ase Nyambo? What was his functions in Lord?
No, he was director of war under the Jumande administration. I met the structure there.
Okay. Now, you said that the objective of Lord was to get Charles Taylor out of the mansion. But Mr. Joe Wally, in his paper, he gave that as an movement, and he also said something as not to get Charles Taylor out. Was that the only way you felt, or your organization felt, that he could leave the mansion, by having war from Foncheman, coming from Foncheman and the list of killing people in Foncheman, coming down, passing Monrovia, coming the other areas? And you still didn't get him out with the guns.
I used to live in Foncheman. I didn't witness any killing of anybody in Foncheman. And the people of Foncheman can come here and attest to that. I used to live there, and nobody was killed in my presence there. And I even spend my own money, open school, for the children to go to school, free education.
What year? And what's the name of the school?
Even one time the principal came to me and said, at least, Mr. Chairman, the school is free. Let the people pay registration fee. I said, nope. I will bring books for them. I will bring everything that you need. Don't bother nobody. And we were doing those things just to, keep the children in school. And we wanted, everybody in Liberia knew that every other effort was made to get Chancellor out. It failed. And we wanted to come home. We were desperate. We were feeling comfortable nowhere but wanted to come back home. And that was the problem. And we're either by force or by peace. And we are home and everybody is happy. Every Liberian is happy. And we're given a rosy welcome. And we should be thankful. We raised our life to have all of you here today.
No. It is a
Chancellor regime, you will never come and sit here to do anything like this. And these are the things that we're fighting against. At least we are happy you can come here and say what you want to say and go free. You can even say anything to the president, people being telling things against the president, and go home and sleep free. So we are all happy. We have true democracy in this country. That shows to us that we have peace. Now we are working on reconciliation because there are other matters that people got to reconcile after war. People went against one another. People take people's property. There is land dispute all over Liberia. Even myself being involved in land dispute in Peace Bay, a big problem. So those are some of the things we need to start working on now. And earlier already with the leadership need to be thankful.
Mr. Damate,
we should be awarded. Now we're money, but we should be awarded in this country for bringing total peace and democracy in this country. And
please,
this is how I feel. Thank you.
Mr. Damate,
yeah.
Mr. Conneh, reconciliation with all justice, with all repentance, we're all asking people for forgiveness, for killing all the peace that you say we have. Many people lost their mother, their father, their children, their home, their property, while others just say, come here. So you say as a result of the war, this is why we are sitting here. The purpose for us here to sitting here is to investigate.
We call for that. We call for that. And we are happy you are investigating.
You see what happened and to find it, the antecedent, what caused it, and what we should recommend. We're supposed to recommend amnesty if they ask for forgiveness only. If people ask and qualify, and to recommend prosecution, but when there have been violation of international humanitarian law, under humanitarian law, certain things you don't do, we cannot give amnesty. So we want people is not say we just come and people tell their story, but these are the facts, and especially those who say we should be happy. We really should be happy because we here.
Yeah, but anybody
and there are other people who
went against anybody can come here and call the person name, and the person should be invited to say why you did this to the person. It was not our objective, and we did not sanction that. And I wasn't part of that. You see, it's very clear. And the people of Liberia, we didn't bring missionaries to this country. And I told you over and over, in fact, I met the structure there. But I was very determined because we wanted to come back home. Every Liberian SI were member of the LURD. And the people were very concerned. They wanted to come home. And nobody could preach anything against Chancellor in this country. If you were here, nobody could say anything.
So that was the gun was the only thing that could say something that he could hear.
Yeah, because it was a police state. People were ruling people with guns, so we got to come with guns.
In your frank opinion on the Quran, do you convincingly can say that it was the gun that brought the peace to this country now, and your gun, Lord gun?
I wish the gun was going to take Chancellor from here. Chancellor, who could take it from here? Nobody. Even the great United States couldn't take the men from here if they were not going to bring gun. Job Bush too, whether he said Chancellor should leave, he never left. That the pressure took him from here. That the pressure, because he knew that we're coming. And we're very closer to him. So he had to leave. He didn't have option.
A member of your Lord said you were just there, and you, of course, you were at the conference, and just to get you out of the way, they got some invitation for you to go to Italy and see Europe so they could do what they could properly do. What do you have to say about that? Were you just a figurehead?
Before I
Or you knew what was going on?
Before I became chairman of law, I went to Europe over 10 times. I used to sell used car in Monrovia. I went to Europe over 10 times. And when the delegation went to Ghana, I didn't even go. I went to Bonjama. I sent the delegation there because of issue that couldn't be resolved. And demands were made from the delegation. Upon that, I was sent for. And I went there, I told them, no, that was not our objective. I'm prepared to sign the accord with in a precondition. And that's what I went to Ghana for. And after signing the peace accord, we had an invitation to go to Italy by an organization that was dealing with conflict resolution. And they sent for us. And they wanted to know whether sincerely the accord was signed. And that's what I went there for. I didn't go there for fun. I didn't go for anything. We were officially invited. I didn't go there alone. And from there, the conference in Ghana was over. I went back to Conneh and I came to Bomi Hills.
What do you have to say to this by Joe Wally in his presentation to us, his documentary presentation? He said, quote, "We were also rebelling against sub-regional indifference, apathy, and many attempts by a few to connive with the Taylor kleptocracy at the expense of the Liberian people and nation. We were rebelling against illegal militia slavery, financed and armed by the Conneh from Tripoli and Middle Eastern and European mafia groups in the West African sub-region. The Lord."
I don't know about that. Maybe I wasn't the chairman at that time. Let me tell you, it was started when I was in Monrovia. The first cross-border attack, the second cross-border attack, I was still in Monrovia. I left Monrovia 2000. So things that Joe Wally telling you about, I didn't know Joe Wally in my life. I met him in Conneh 2002 when I went there. I didn't know him from nowhere. And I was never a member of NPF, I was never a member of ULIMU. I have never been a member of any faction in this country. So my position is very clear. And I'm happy that Joe Wally came here ahead of me and tell the people that, look, the first cross-border attack took place, second took place before Sekous. Because if I want to be the first and come here and say, I didn't know about this, nobody would have believed it. But Joe Wally came here and make it very clear that Sekous wasn't there. It was the first group, it was the second group before Joe Mande and before I could come in. So this is why there are a lot of things I didn't know about the formation. Even the name everything when it came about, I was saying Monrovia here.
Do you consider Lord as a warring faction? What will you consider Lord?
LURD is a resistant group. But I helped the first chancellor out of here. And we were all Liberian. Yeah. And we wanted to come back home and wanted a change. Everybody wanted democracy in this country yet. People knew. Nobody was free. People were living here, there was no freedom.
When you talk about coming back home, wanting to come back home, it looked like it's a self-interest, self-serving interest.
Over 500,000 Liberians wanted to come back home. Over 500,000 Liberians wanted to come back home. And there was no freedom of speech. Human rights activists, they couldn't talk. Tiawo Gongolo, they were beaten here. So nobody was free. If you say something, they beat you up. So we had the best solution, and he went.
Will you say whether Lord was founded in Guinea or Sierra Leone?
I don't know.
Or where?
I don't know. I didn't have interest in all of those things. I just wanted Chancellor out. So when I became chairman, I moved to Bonjama Street and I tell the boss, look, let's move Chancellor. And that was my objective. That was our objective. I didn't have to investigate all of those things where those things were funded. That's not government were bringing. We just wanted Chancellor out. And as soon as Chancellor got out, I was even tired. So I was happy. You know when Chancellor was were indicted in Accra, and when they're releasing the Ghana government, I got vexed because I wanted the war to be over. I was tired. I'm not happy to be in Bush. I was not happy to be in Bush. We wanted to come back in Monrovia. And that's our objective.
Mr. Conneh,
Yeah.
since Charles Taylor left 2003, there's several Liberians just in Guinea and in the other sub-region. So your suggestion that you wanted to come home and many
The
to
people
come
coming.
home, so what will happen now for the others to come?
The government got to work hard for the people to come. The Ganta Hapo Highway, they got to be paved. The Banga Medikoma Highway, no road, it's raining. The people are too expensive to bring them back. Development will bring the people back. We all got to work together and bring development for the people to come back home. Some people don't have shelter. The rain is falling. And these are the things we need to do. We need to work hard. Development is what will bring the people back. Because some of them have their own little place, they are living there and they are wondering where they're coming to live and where they're going to start from. The international community need to be part of that.
When the people left, the time they left, the roads and the way in which they left were better than now?
Yeah, living
them to
condition.
return?
When there was no war in this country, people were living on their farm, their villages, and at least they were happy. Because they must say, you know, when I heard about 1990 war coming from Buto, I was confused. I said, what are they talking about? You know, I didn't leave the country. I was here. And I started wondering, what is this? Until the people can get at the red light, I was there. And, you know, I was packing my things to leave the country, and I was having prayer by myself. I said, God, can you keep me here and I see what is coming? And you know, definitely my prayer will answer. And I was packing my things. My car was filled to leave the country, but every day I would postpone, every day tomorrow, until finally, July 2nd, Pinsville Railway was taking over. I was there, and I went to Ominga. I stayed 3 days, 5 days in Ominga, and I went with one of my auntie, with a grandchild, and the auntie was killed in my presence. And when I come in, let me just lay that small story. So when the auntie was killed, and I knew that, I knew that it was something serious. Because when I got out, I thought it was a fun. So when the auntie was killed, the next day, the NPFS soldier came to our Ominga and said, look, those soldier is coming. The place is not safe. You move. And everybody was forced. Over 10,000 people were forced to go to Fender. I was among the group. We all went to Fender. And when I got to Fender, in the night, I was looking for one of the classrooms to go and stay in.
When?
Especially academic building where they had the offices. I wanted to be in one of that place. While looking around to get a place to sleep, I was arrested.
Yeah. That's the next question I'll come to ask. When you left Liberia, why you left Liberia, and why were you in jail, arrested?
You are talking about after the election, or you're talking about 1990? I didn't leave the country. I'm telling you, I went to Fender.
2003.
2003?
Yeah.
No, 2003 I was here.
You went to Ghana, right? And about 2000, when they had the Accra Peace
I went to
2000.
Ghana,
Yeah, after that, when did you come back? And why you left the country when you went from there, why were you arrested? You were never arrested since 2003 you left?
No, I was never arrested. I just want to rest. After the revolution, after the campaign, I just want to rest myself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Conneh, for responding to our invitation to come before this commission and make the contribution to the process. This process is unique in that we all know for 14 years there was bloodbath. It is important for people to understand what really happened so that the generation to come will not do what happened in our time. So in order to achieve that, we try to ask some questions. So you please bear with me because I would like to get some understanding concerning certain things that happen.
You're welcome.
According to you, you joined Lloyd later. Please tell us how you ascended to become a chairman of Lloyd.
By resolution.
By the resolution.
Yeah. addressed to me. That's it.
Why did you join?
Maybe resolution were addressed to other people to become Lord before me. I'm not disputing that. But my sentence is a resolution were addressed to me, nobody else.
But the resolution came after you became a member of Lloyd.
Yeah, when I entered Conneh and I saw the people, I decided to be a member.
Why did you join?
Because I'm telling you, I met people desperate to come back home, and I wanted to come back with them. I wanted them to bring me. But instead, because I was so determined and courageous, I brought them. Huh?
Okay. So your reason for joining is because, according to you, that you wanted to come back home.
Everybody wanted to come back home. And everybody wanted freedom. Besides coming back home, you wanted freedom.
But yesterday, when the Senator Johnson was here, he said at one point in time you were in jail at Fendel.
Exactly. So.
Can you tell us anything about that?
Exactly. So I was just trying to explain that when I was on Fendel. When I got to Fendel the next day, I was arrested to only be a Madingo man. I was arrested because I was Madingo man. And when I was taken to the checkpoint to be killed or to be investigated, when we got to the checkpoint, because from the campus we were on the road. When I was arrested, they call it Dofa Tabi, right? The Tabi. I was Tabi, falling. So I crossed the campus among thousands of people in rope with Oshai. Went to the checkpoint. When we got there, one commander asked, who is that man? I said, Madingo man. Why are you bringing Madingo man here for killing him? We don't have jail for Madingo man. So the guy told me to stop. He advanced the gun. We were supposed to go behind the house to be killed. Another commander came and said, look, come, I'm the commander. Before you kill anybody, you have to reach me. What happened to my man? He gave me the opportunity to explain. And I told him, say, I was from Rural South County. Although I'm not from there. I'm from Bong. But I told him I was from River South County because my son from Ministry of Finance carried me to River South County. And I knew the political structure there. And I know the administrative seat of government there. So I told them I was from Riverside. I couldn't tell them I was from Bong for some reason. I can speak the Pella and I'm from there. But whenever you tell them you're from Bong, they want to know whether you've been to Poro Society. And I didn't go there. So I was afraid of that and I told them I was from Riverside County and I don't speak any dialect in English. But your people, I told the commander, your people want to kill me. We demonstrated that Monge should come down. I'm a member of Action Party and your people want to kill me. And from the explanation, the commander, he was in sympathy with me, and he told the people to leave me alone, and he told the people not to be killing, they should investigate. And he told me to stay at the checkpoint there. It's where they had a jail. I should stay in the jail, because the jail don't have door. Because what kind of tablet they can get you before they put you in jail, nobody can run away from there. So I was in jail, and I met two persons in jail. And the other man was Pella man. He was Tabe, but he said he was a former AFL soldier, a son to Nimba. When Kunyokpa came in, because of Kunyokpa, he was dismissed from the army in 1985. And I asked the other man in jail, what is your own problem? He said, my man, I'm a parliament, but we're driving utility vehicle at the executive mansion. So I forgot I wanted the check stone in my pocket, and they found the check stone, and they were written there, executive mansion. They said, I do drive. That's my other problem. But the man, the AFL man, he worked for a Giro woman. That's why he was not killed, because of his wife. So those two people were paying in jail to be killed. And I joined them, but I was already released. But I couldn't walk by on the camp. I would have been arrested by somebody else. And one vehicle came from Bangai and stopped and said, look, since the morning, he want to know who are in jail. He had not killed anybody. When he reached there, he asked me, why? I said, no, I'm free. He asked these two men. Because I didn't want to tell him, he said, I'll be accused of being Madingo man. And they are going to question me again. I told him I was free. So these two men, you can ask them. And I tell you, when I was arrested, when the man asked for my release, and I told him the rope, while losing the rope, I had to shed tears. When there were even times I didn't feel it, but the rope had entered my flesh. And that rope stayed on me, I think, 2-3 hours. That would make me not to be a handicap. It would have slipped. I would have been a handicap. After 3 hours, the rope was loosened, and I was on the campus. Just after another 2 hours, Prince Johnson attacked Fender. And when Prince Johnson attacked Fender, I became a free man. And we saw, in fact, we closed the door, because the door was open, we closed the door. But I thought, in fact, when I saw the people through the window, I thought it was AFL. I said, but what is going on? AFL is here. Because I didn't even know about Prince Joseph Group at the time. You know, I was also not in politics. I was just an ordinary civil servant and a businessman. So I didn't have, up to that time, I didn't have any knowledge about INPFL. So I said, but AFL is here. And when they were even work outside. But the man in Nimba, from Nimba, the parliament, he could speak the Gio. He said, but the people speaking Gio, that Prince Joseph Group. Then I came to myself small. I said, later on we had an announcement. Everybody free. Everybody come. So on the knife was there, I took the knife, I released the two guys. I released the two fellow. But before I released it, there was some rice at the CP there. I took that first and I tied that up. I said, this is my food. And I collected something from the CP because I was the commander there at the Buba. So I took the rice and the salt. There was no salt on campus. I took salt from there and rice, and I took it and I released the two guys walk on the campus. So when I went, while people were rejoicing, I was looking for a room. I found a room and I entered that room. I stayed there. I didn't come up. I was there until the door died. I was on campus until the very Ecomo with the Prince Joseph Suya went back and started pushing Chancellor up to the time they get to Fender, and I left Fender. I came back in town at my residence in Pinsy.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
When he joined Lloyd and became the head for Lloyd,
Yeah.
did you go on any military training?
Training?
Yes.
No, I didn't go for any training. I'm a good administrator. So, you know, defense minister usually don't be army. So I'm a good administrator and I minister the day-to-day activities.
So what can you tell us about the training of Lloyd fighters? How were they trained? Were they trained in...
They were trained by NPFL, Ulimo J and Ulimo K. They were Liberian. And some of them fought for Ulimo. This is why they couldn't come to Liberia. And some of them fought for Ulimo K, LPC. And because they didn't fight for NPFL, they couldn't come to Liberia. There was a threat of Chancellor, and they were all in ESA. And they didn't have to be trained. They were trained already.
Can you comment on the leadership structure of Lloyd upon your ascendancy to chairperson position?
Yeah, but the structure was already there. We had an executive member, and we had a military structure, and I was the head.
You the military structure?
No, I said you had a military structure. They headed by the chief of staff.
So what's the name of the chief of staff?
Charles Den, the late Charles Den, at the time.
And after Charles Den?
Yeah, Sayo Sharif. Sayo Sharif, deputy chief of staff.
You said Shai Sharif?
Yeah. And he led the revolution to Monrovia.
He led the revolution in Monrovia?
Yeah.
Next to him?
Ofori Dia.
Ofori Dia. What was Ofori's position?
He was deputy to deputy chief of staff. So later on, yeah, he was next to Sai Sharif.
Yeah, he was next to Shai Sharif.
Yeah.
Next to Ofori?
Down the line, down the military line. Yeah, down the line, on all the way. Yeah, we can say all that one. Yeah, those are the military structure. You just ask me, I told you I didn't take military training, but I'm a good administrator, and I administer the affair to the best of my knowledge.
But as good administrator, you will know the people who work under you directly.
Yeah, I know them. You have chief of staff, you have deputy chief of staff, you have commanding general.
Who was the commanding general?
You have brigade, you have all the other things there. So you want to know all of them?
No, just maybe 5 more.
The secretary general is invited. He has record there. He will give you the name. Joe Bala, he was the secretary general. He's invited here. He's coming. He come, he'll give you the full listing. Yeah. That is secretary general on a job there.
And could you kindly tell us where did Law get its support from in terms of arms?
Law was supported by Liberian. Liberian Gaspararo. Yeah. Liberian Ezra.
Liberian Ezra.
Yeah, Law was financed by Liberian all over the world. That wanted to come back home. Some were in America, some Liberian in London, some were in neighboring West African country. They were all over. Some of them even came to me when I was to Tottenham Prayer with printed West Indian paper that they send money to Law. But I said, I didn't see your money, and he won a job. I said, who did you send your money to? He said, Joe Wally. I said, but that was not to the organization. So Liberia was sending money.
Okay, and it is on the record that Lord was also supported by Guinea. Can you comment on that?
I don't want to comment on that because I met the structure. I met the terror armed to the teeth. So I just wanted to pick up from there and just want the chancellor out. You see, I was not the chairman at the time. If it happened, I don't want to dispute that, but I don't want to comment on that. But I met my boys armed to the teeth. Charles Dane was the chief of staff. So, and we just pick up from there, and we later on we capture a lot of arms.
Up to the time you was there.
Yeah, we captured a lot of arms. I think the Focus on Africa magazine, when Jim Robertson was there, some of the captured arms were exhibited even on the magazine. A lot of it. Yeah.
You said, when I asked your question about the recruitment of fighters, you said it was from MPFL, UNIMO fighters.
The training, yeah, they were trained from there.
They trained.
We didn't train anybody.
Did you, at any point in time, recruited children?
No, I was spending my money to send children to school so they can be involved in war. Dusty Wolokali, he went to Vonyama, he saw the school, he went on the campus to see. You can ask him. Just to discourage child soldiers.
What will you say when you are asked to comment on the violation that happened in your control area? Can you throw light on some of the human rights violation that happened in your control area and how you treated civilians?
We were liberated. I can tell you, if I tell you how I treated the civilian in Vonjama, I wanted to come and attest to this thing that I'm telling you. Because my food in my house, I used to take it and give it to civilians. They were my people. I had a clinic there for my soldiers. But I later asked the civilian to go there and take treatment. And you know, the chief medical officer came to me that, look, the people that are coming for treatment, if they're not buying drugs, registration should be $5, Liberian dollar. I said no. And you know, one time I traveled, when I came, one old man brought a complaint to me that he wanted to take treatment. I asked him to register. And I called a medical officer in the old man present, and I told him he was dismissed. For asking that old man for $5, he was dismissed. And I told the deputy to take over. And you know, the very old people in the town, it was their own son. Because I didn't know the man from nowhere, he was a lumber man in the town there. The very old people came back together that I should forgive him. I said, okay, but next time, don't take the money from the people. I'm buying my drugs, I'm bringing my drugs. If the people sick, treat them free. And the school is free. I used to travel and bring copy books. One time I saw one prominent Liberian in Conneh. She was a lady, she said she don't support war, but saying I have school there, it's a gift for the student. And she's not part of war, and I was happy. But it's not the president. Let that be clear, she was a lady.
Well, during the hearing, because during the first phase of our hearing process, we visited all the 15 counties. And witnesses came before the commission who testified against Lloyd, saying that they were used to transport arms from one place to another. Whenever they say they are tired, they will be shot.
Shot?
Yes.
I don't want to clarify on that much. I didn't go above Vonjama. And those children, I don't want to clarify on that much. But you know, LURD, we're not even killing enemy. How can we kill somebody that's transporting goods for you? And the boys in Vonjama, all the former soldiers were there for NPFL. We didn't kill none. There's a lady that came from the bush and told me, said, look, my husband, some kind of name, they have some kind of war name for chancellor people, and the lady came, she said, my husband is in the bush. And she came from the bush, the first time, I gave them clothes, I gave them slipper, and they went back. And I told, the chief of staff told me they had a G2 in Vonjama. And the G2 said, before anybody go on your farm, you should go get pass. I said, no. When I get to know about that, I stopped that. How can somebody get pass in your own country? I said, no, I don't want to hear about that. When you're traveling to Guinea, you can go face your G2 to the border there. But Liberia, on your farm, leave that. And the G2 men were telling me, say, these people go and meet chancellor people. I said, but what's wrong with that? They are not enemy, they are Liberian. So the lady came, and the way they were taking care of, they went by in the bush, they told that the king, they brought all the ladies in the town. Somebody said, my husband, I don't want to lie, I don't want my husband to be killed. He's a fighter, but he want to come. I said, go bring him, he will be my bodyguard. And my soldier then used to say, he went down, he looked like he's stupid. So because they said, how can you make enemy your bodyguard? I said, these are not enemy, these are Liberian. So I was very, open to the people. I used to walk in the village in Vonjama town, walk and speak to the people and tell the people to relax, that nothing will happen. And that was our position. So how will you kill somebody that transporting goods for you? So I don't want to believe that much. Although I'm not the best person, the chief of staff is the best person, but I don't want to believe that. Genghis Khan was captured and he was taken to Vanjama. Nobody touched him. And those are prominent people that were close to Chancellor. He was legal advisor to Chancellor. We didn't kill him. Why should we kill innocent people? So that was not our objective.
You say at one point in time you were in Lofa.
Yeah, we're in Lofa. I used to be
So
in
it means that you have close relation with the men on the battlefront.
I used to be in Vanjama. Vanjama was not battlefront.
Were
We
you,
had civilians living there.
so
yeah.
were you aware
Yeah.
about their activities?
Yeah, I never went to the front. I told you over and over. Those are military training. I told you I didn't take military training. How would go on front line? Huh? I couldn't go on front line. I don't even know up to now. Anyway, I don't want to disclose that, but I tell you, we were focused and we had an objective to get Chancellor up. And that was the mission. And the very civilians in our control area were very happy that we should get him out. They used to pray for us. We had a mosque, we had churches in Vanyama used to come pray to my house every morning, and that God should give us the power to remove Chancellor. The very civilians that telling you this thing. They used to come pray. Both the Christian, the Muslim, they would come to my house in Vanyama and pray. And I used to be with them, and they used to pray that Chancellor should leave. And God answered the prayer. So I don't know what you're talking about, actually. Yeah.
According to information we gather,
Yeah.
in 2003 May, law forces under the control of General Conneh executed people at Lofa Bridge.
Krumah?
Yes.
Who Krumah is that?
2003.
Conneh?
Yes.
Chubara, you know any General Krumah?
Sekous Conneh, one General Sekous Conneh.
I don't know any Sekous Krumah. Chubara, I beg you, you can't be pretty record to clarify some of these things. I don't know about this thing. That man is the Secretary General. It's good that you invited him in here. Because he was one of the, active men with the boys. But I don't have knowledge.
I'm finished with my.
Some people will not come here and just call first name. Just to build up cases.
My last question.
Thank you.
There was a saying in the battle for Monrovia. It was a common saying, the language of the rocket, such as your ma there, no. Your pa there, no. Then the rocket will launch. As a leader, did you ever hear this? And what was your reaction? How did you feel about it?
I never heard that. The only one I heard about was the boat motor. When I reached the Bunura, that one I heard about. But I didn't hear about that, your mom there, your pa there. I never heard that story. Yeah.
What about moon mortar?
Yeah, when I get to Mondura, I was surprised to hear that story. People were calling myself Mo Mortar, but I didn't know why they were calling me. And I tell you, the mortar we're using, we had 81 millimeter. And when we were coming to Monrovia, people accused us of shelling. We were not the one that shelling, I can tell you. And bring any, it's so good we still have oil into this country, bring any military aspect. The mortar we're using, when you fire that mortar from the Freeport, it can't reach on Broad Street. So, you see, Chancellor had the mortar planted in Monrovia just to make us ugly to the international community because he was under pressure to leave. He could do anything. And people were not understanding that and were reporting that on the BBC. We were not the one that is sharing the mortar. We didn't have any mortar that could travel that distance. We never had it. The army is there, the record is there. And people were just, we have mortar, but it was not used for shelling because we wanted Chancellor out. So that is our position about this mortar thing. Everybody keep asking, everybody keep talking about it. This morning said on the Star Radio, they said the man coming, the man that was shelling, but the people just run out conclusion we're all investigating. So that was your last question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think we can go to the next person.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Witness.
You are welcome.
And thank you
How are
so much for coming to the TRC. I have few questions, and I hope you have the patience to bear with me as I ask them.
You are welcome.
My first question surrounds how you got from Monrovia to Fojima. I know you told us the part about leaving from Monrovia on July 21st, when the war met you at Painesville to Fendel until you were free by Prince Johnson.
Yeah.
And then you came back to Monrovia.
Yeah.
So can you please throw light on how you got from Monrovia to Fojima?
After the election, I was here in this country when Chancellor was... Just 1997 election.
Okay.
I was here 1990 when I came to my house. I was doing my private business because the Leeward County with the Ministry of Finance was not active. So I was involved in my private business at the same time working with the Ministry of Finance, even some private company. I was working with them, and I stayed up to 97. And when 97 after the election, when I traveled on one occasion to Europe through Conneh, and I think I was in Europe when the first cross-border attack took place. When I got back to the first border attack from Guinea somewhere to the border there, the first attack in Fojima era.
Who led that attack?
I didn't know. I wasn't there at that time. I would tell you that I just left Monrovia through transiting Guinea to go Europe to get used car at that time.
Okay.
So when I came back, one close security fellow tipped me, I mean, we got information that you went recently to meet Alhaji Kuma in Conakry. I said, but I don't even know Alhaji Kuma. Alhaji Kuma don't know me. I'm not in politics. I'm just a civil servant, and I'm just, living my simple life. I said, I don't even know Alhaji Kuma. You don't even know me in person. So I was there, and I had to learn to speak with somebody who always used to call me rebel. He said, you rebel. I said, and the rebel thing, I've never been a rebel in my life. But he kept calling me rebel. So Asha came to visit me in Monrovia from Conakry. She was arrested to be a spy for Conneh, and later on, she got released after some diplomatic intervention. The Guinean ambassador was involved, and she got released. And Chancellor sent for her and apologized to her. And I was there. We met Chancellor together. He sent for us. He even gave Asha a guest car. I think that was guest 7. He had some vehicle, the guest car. Guest number 7. He gave it to Asha. I was using it. So, and he told Asha to stay in Monrovia. And he got the information that Asha was a visionist. And Asha being with Conneh. And Asha is a Liberian. Asha should be with him. So Asha should not leave. And Asha had a baby, and the baby was sick. And Asha asked for permission to leave and carry the baby and come back. So when Asha left, I was also arrested. And I was detained to be rebel collaborator.
What year was that?
That was 1999.
99.
Yeah, 98, 99. I have been arrested over and over.
Okay.
And I was arrested again. Asha was in Conakry. And
at that time, she was your wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
So from there, we managed to carry complaint. 2P Taylor came and freed us. And went to Chancellor with the complaint. Chancellor asked me whether Jyoti were involved in my arrest. I said no. And he ordered Jyoti to investigate why I was arrested. Jyoti was investigating my case when he died in the plane. I was in this country. So one day, I was also arrested again by different group. So I began afraid. I said, look, my life is no longer safe here. I must leave. And I left everything. Went to the airport, took the plane. I went by road because I flew first, but the last trip And when we were all close, nothing. And I drove out of the country. When I get to Conneh, I met the Liberian, another Liberian there. I said, what's going on? I said, we are here and we can't go back to Liberia because of Chancellor. I said, oh. And some of them, I saw him on the road. I said, but you are him on the road. He said, yes, but they wanted to kill us. We left. And I said, so what is your intention now? He said, we don't want fighting in the bush. I said, oh, that's interesting.
Our which group now?
The same, but I think when the group started, it was not LURD.
Oh, it was another group.
Yeah, I think with the first attack wasn't, but I think Joe Wale made clarification on the thing because he knows better.
Who?
Joe Wale.
Oh, Joe
He
Wale.
did make clarification on the thing. He knows better about those things because all the war in Liberia, he is aware of everything. For me, I wouldn't know my law. So the children were interacting and they knew my relationship in Guinea. Most of them were talking to me. And I started spending my own money, because the condition was bad up. I started to spend my own money. I tried to encourage them. And I have, I had a used car fence at Pinsby. When I was leaving, I left all my vehicle here. I left them in this country. So I went to Conakry and I felt that the era, I couldn't work. I couldn't speak French. It was my first visit in Conakry. So I wanted to go to Europe to stay.
At that time was your first visit?
In Conakry.
In Conakry.
Yeah, so I wanted to go to...
But the first time that you left to go to Europe?
Yeah, I transited. That was transited. I didn't know Guinea, so I didn't know how to find my way out. Okay. Because I went to stay. I didn't want to come to Liberia anymore because of the arbitrary arrest. No charges, nothing. Every day that rebel. Now, if it starts, God is a great person. If you start telling somebody rebel, maybe that one made me to be rebel. Because I was not thinking of a rebel thing here. But everybody was just calling me rebel and maybe God wanted me to be a rebel. So everywhere I passed, the rebel thing just behind me. Rebel. They made a rebel. They just catch me. Even if the land business, they won't put me in jail for land business. They'll put me in jail for rebel business. I said, so before I die, let me leave. And when I went, the earlier thing, I wanted to go to Europe to stay. The man I used to buy the car from, I wanted to go and stay with him and work with him. So I was in Conakry and now God said, you're not going, you got to fight in Liberia. But you see the experience that I have from the Prince Johnson team, from the Chancellor team, from the Alhaji Kuma team, the experience that I got, so I decided to make a difference. When I was fighting, I used to refresh my memory. Although I wasn't part of those things, but I was there, I saw what happened. One of the unit, sir, I didn't go to, because I never crossed that Pole River Bridge one day. I was just in Monrovia, all throughout, since I left Fender. I was afraid of all the rebel group. I didn't want to trust any. So until one day they called someone at executive meeting, the law people, I went there. I said, look, I'm a Liberian, and there should be a Liberian organization as stated, so I'm a member.
In Guinea?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I succeeded in getting later on I applied for my visa, I succeeded in getting my visa to travel. I think even if you check my passport, but I didn't travel on that trip. And while we were there, LURD was there, we heard that Guinea was under attack from Liberia. Liberians were in the refugee Masantan there, in the Kikidu area, and they began hectic scatter. That was too provocative. And from there, I decided to start getting active. I said, oh, so we left Liberia with Chancellor, he won't follow us here? No, I began eager from there. I said, this thing, we must take a sting. And you see, my mind started telling me different things. Look, I got to be active with this thing. And that started getting me involved. Liberian, when you go to Masana, it was like Liberia. Because people, refugees, Liberians had just crossed, and there were too many there. And fighters, they were there, they didn't have nowhere to go. And they were all looking bad up. So, and that attack in Guinea, it was too provocative to the Liberian. And I got the information, I didn't know how true is it. They were the fighter become volunteer and they smuggle out of the arm that they get for Liberia. Those are the conversations I used to have, but I wasn't part of it at that time. I was not the chairman at the time. Mm-hmm. So those are things that happened, and I left Liberia, and later on people heard that Sekous Damate Conneh was the chairman. And I got on BBC one day, I said, look, I'm the chairman. When I became chairman, I said, look, I am the chairman. And we will make sure Chancellor leave.
So when you left Guinea, you crossed the border to come to Liberia in Fonjima? Or where did you go when you left Guinea?
Yeah, when I took over the chairmanship, I moved to Liberia straight.
No,
across the
before you took on the chairmanship, you said in your previous statement, you said you took on the chairmanship in Fonjima. That's what you said. But I'm asking you, you said you left Guinea. When you left Guinea, where did you go? Did you come straight to Fonjima to stay? Or did you go to another place and then later find yourself in Fonjima? My main aim is to get how you got to Fonjima.
I drive to Fonjima. I went by road.
You went by road from Guinea?
Yeah, there's a border there. All over Liberia is bordering Guinea.
Okay, so you came by road, from road to...
Yeah, civilians in Fonjima used to come to Masantan every day to come buy goods and go back. Through all the world, because we were not bothering people. People were peaceful, the movement were peaceful. And you know, we're providing security. When we took over Fonjima, we're providing security for Guinea. We assured the Guinean that there will be no cross-border attack. So we were there putting on security, and we tried our best to dissolve the RUF base from Foya. And that makes it a long war to finish.
So which role were you playing at that time?
No, I was talking to
you were
Secretary
still
General,
administrative?
I was talking to Secretary General, I was talking to Chief of Staff, and they were telling me what they are doing. I told them, what is the military plan you have? And what are you doing? What is the strategy? They were telling me.
So in Guinea you were active?
No, I wasn't active. I'm talking about Liberia now. I'm not talking about Guinea anymore.
When they had a cross-border attack in Guinea?
No, at that time, I didn't become chairman. The cross-border attack is the one that gave me the heart and the courage. And when they wrote me, I accept. Because of that, when I reflect on that cross-border attack, but I didn't automatically become chairman.
From the cross-border attack to the time you became chairman, how long was that?
No, that took some time because Jomande a lot of those things were still under the leadership of Jomande.
Was it a year or was it a few months?
It wasn't a year. I think it was a month.
Few months.
Yeah.
Like how many? 5, 6?
Yeah, I think around 5.
Pardon me?
Around 5.
5 months after. Okay. So you became a part of Lloyd in Guinea, but you were not active until you came to Monrovia, and then they did a resolution to make you the chairman in Fonjima.
Yeah.
At the time you went to Guinea, was your wife a part of Lloyd? Was Asha Conneh a part of Lloyd in Guinea?
The time I went there, she was not part because she used to visit me in Liberia when Law were already there. And I was in Liberia, I think. Law were formed when I was staying in Liberia here.
So in Guinea, she was not part of Lloyd?
Yeah, it was the confusion we had with Chancellor and the arbitrary arrest of Asha and myself. That took me from Liberia to go. It wasn't all business.
You came to Fonjima, but was she a part of Lloyd in Guinea? She was not a part of Lloyd.
Yeah, when I get to Conneh, I told you, I met some law executive and I registered to them that I'm a member.
So she was not a member?
No, she wasn't a member at the time.
So she became a member of Lloyd in Fonjima along with you when you took over?
No, you see, most of the executives used to live in Conneh. So you could be an executive member, we all went to Fonjima.
So how did she become a part of Lloyd?
I think she can explain better.
Pardon me?
She can explain that to you better than me.
She will explain that to us better?
Yeah, she can explain that better.
So you are saying you don't want to answer that?
I cannot make too much clarification on that. I am telling you that upon the resolution that I received, I became chairman. And she was an executive member. But when you want to know how she entered and when, she would be the best person for that. Okay,
thank you. You talk about people who wanted Charles Taylor, or including the people from America, the U.S. people.
Everybody, not only America.
All of them wanted.
Every Liberian all over the world.
Were they a part of funding Lodge?
Lodge was funded when I was not a member.
Pardon me? Not founding.
Funding, yes.
The American people funded Lodge?
I didn't say American. I said Liberian living in America and all over.
I asked you about the Americans.
No. I told you Liberian living all over the world, including America and all over.
Can you name some of those Liberians who funded Lloyd?
I think Joe Wale would be the best person for that.
Who?
Joe Wale. You need the people from America.
Are you avoiding answering that question again?
No, I think Joe Wale would be the best. He knows the people. Joe Wale know all the funder and all the...
Can we please have it quiet? I always say this is a very serious process that we take seriously. We're not here to make fun, we're not here to laugh, we're not here to joke. We are here to take this process serious. We need information, and like the chairman said, if it means that we do it without you, people will do it. So please give us the chance, respect the bench, respect the person who is speaking so that we get the information that we want. This is our work we are doing, and we hope you respect it. This is our office. Thank you. You talk about people who did not want you in the organization because you stood for peace. Can you name those people who did not want you?
I don't have to name them. Joe Wale came here and told you that they have playing when they reach here, they're going to change me. He said it openly in his statement.
You said it, so we want
he
to
said it
name.
before.
I'm saying when you did your presentation, you told us that there were people who did not want you to be a part of Lord. I'm not speaking to Joe Wale, I'm speaking to Sekous, Damate, Conneh. So please tell me those people who did not want you to be a part of Lord. I'm not referring to Joe Wale's statement, nothing. I'm listening to you as an individual and as the chairman of Lord.
I am telling you, people stood before this body that they had planned to remove Sekous Conneh when he get to Monrovia. Because I have consolidated
I did not hear that.
Okay, I will send you a copy after here of that statement from somebody who made the utterance right here in this body. I have a copy of that document.
With all due respect, sir. When people come and testify before the commission, it's their testimony.
Yeah. But that's a public testimony for everybody.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But we appreciate if you respond to the question and don't refer to what other people have said.
All right.
But we speak from our own knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Once again, sir, can you please name those who were against you because you stood for peace?
Most of the executive members, Joe
Can
Wale
you
was
name
number
them?
one.
Yes.
You know, I just told you I won't go any further because when I just left this country during the interim government, there was an election held here that I was changed in my absence.
Pardon me? I didn't get you.
An election was held while we were in Monrovia, the interim government was in place. Everything, there was an election held here to change me.
To change you?
Yeah, and I was out of the country. And I got on the radio. I said the intention was to derail the peace process, and the international community were involved with that. That look, we're not going to allow any changes. The war is over, and there's no more. In fact, after the dissolution of the faction, we had a program in the executive mansion. After that, there was another election called by Joe Wale and his group that Sekous Conneh should be removed from the chairmanship.
So you don't know the rest of the people who are against you?
I didn't even have interest anymore because we're talking about disbanding. The organization had been disbanded. And we're talking about government, we're talking about formation of political party. We're no longer discussing about LURD. But yet people had other interior motive, and this is why they were planning those things.
Okay.
But you see, reconsideration for me, as Sekous Conneh, I just want to give some testimony. But if I forget about things, I don't like to just go back uprightly to it. But I just want to abreast you of some of the things that happen. But those things have been forgotten about, and we are talking about ahead. We are talking about fortune. I hold nothing against nobody, even the Joe Wale man. Nothing against nobody. So that's my position. Even people that put me in jail during chancellor regime here, I would never want to call their name because I don't want to bring hard feeling back. I don't want them to hear me speaking and know, oh, this man still remember that I put in jail. I don't want hard feeling. Reconciliation, and those things have been forgotten about. And we should be talking about background. We should be talking about reconciliation. So I hold nothing against any Liberian who did things to me personally. And I want to register this clear. So I don't have enemy. And I'm a free man. The chancellor boys, the LURD boys, the model boys, they are all my children. They visit me to my house, they enter my house, and they eat to my house, and we are all one, and we are free people.
And you are happy that you were able to drive Charles Taylor away from Liberia to give us the environment that we are in now.
Everybody was happy that Chancellor left Liberia.
And you were the one who did it.
Yeah, it was not Sekous Damate Conneh. We were a resistant group, and the international community wanted Chancellor. Chancellor was indicted when he was here, and he was a leader man. And from here he went there to the Hague. So I can't say that Sekous Damate, because I'm not the one investigating him.
Who did it?
The international community leader, he was indicted. And I don't think it was for Liberia business, the Sierra Leone. So that I'm not part of that. And I don't want to be part of that. That is above me.
You said your main objective when you took over Lord, as leader of Lord, was to see Chancellor go. And we should be thanking you. That's your word. We should be thanking you for taking Chancellor from this country,
and also rewarding,
bringing in democracy, bringing in peace, and creating the kind of atmosphere we are in right now that we can even sit here to talk about the reconciliation of our country. These are your words. That's the reason why I asked.
We call for the creation of TRC.
Pardon me?
We call for the creation of TRC.
I understand that.
Yeah, but then you don't want to tell me thank you for calling for the creation of TRC?
Pardon me?
You won't be happy to tell me thank you for asking for the creation of TRC?
I should tell you thank you for creating TRC?
Yeah, because
why?
It makes the Liberian people more comfortable that look, all what been happening, we are obliged to come here and say things that we did and that we saw. It makes the Liberian people to feel that the war is over automatically.
My next question is, you said something about the structure that was in place before you became the leader. When you brought a group to Funjima to you, there was a structure already in place.
Unejomane were removed.
Unejomane were removed. So they kept all of the other people.
Yeah.
Who were those people?
All the executive members that you know in Monrovia.
All of the executive members.
And the chief of staff remained in her position. He appointed me at the time. How could I move him? So
Pardon me?
The chief of staff at the time remained in her position. The structure of the army, they even wrote me to become the chairman. So nothing could be changed at the moment.
So you kept that old structure?
We kept the structure.
Okay.
And we started counseling them under our administration that look, this should be only for chancellor, this shouldn't be for people.
Today we are before the TRC and saying that you do not want to think about all of those things that happened during the war, but you only want to reflect on the way forward for Liberia.
I didn't tell you that. Don't misquote me, please. I'm sitting right before you. I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I only told you about the formation when I was in chairman. That's why I didn't investigate. But I didn't tell you, I didn't have time for things that happened when I was chairman. Everything that happened when I was chairman, it was my concern, my secretary.
No, that's not my question, sir.
The secretary general is here. When he comes, he will further elaborate. But there are things I don't know because I was at the top.
It's not my question.
What is your question?
You said right now that most of the things that happen when you think only your heart can hear you. That's not what you said? You say you can humble your heart?
No, I didn't say so.
You didn't say so?
No. Most of the things that happen, like what? I didn't say so. I can't remember. I didn't say that. I only told you the cross-border attack. It bothered me. That's what I told you.
When we talk about peace, what did you say?
Peace?
Yeah,
but just get the question and let me answer it again because I don't know. I don't want us to be just, Or you can ask the press people to just reverse what I said so I can listen to it again. Yeah, because I don't know.
You said that during your time in Funjima so, you opened a school?
Yeah.
What was the name of that school?
I can't remember again, sir. Yeah, on record. Joe Bala will tell you the name tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The other other man will come tell me. No bother.
Audience, please, if you're walking out, please do that quietly and give the process a chance. Please, we beg you. Just walk out quietly. You don't have to cause noise.
You see, but I'm telling you, she's alive and she's here and she's okay.
So finally,
she's even following her education.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Are you supporting her in her quest for education?
Yeah.
All right. Finally,
I'm talking to her and she's okay. And she's happy.
Finally, how would you describe the human rights record of LERD as an organization or resistance movement, as you described it?
The Human Rights Watch 2003 wrote a beautiful report about law, one of the rebel movement in the world, in fact, in the world, that was one of the best rebel movement in the world, as the Watch group. They wrote a report.
So there was no human rights abuses committed by LERD?
Yeah, if any individual did that, you did it at your own risks, and you should be here to answer that question.
What did your leadership do about those violations?
The chief of staff had a provoke marshal to discipline all the fighters that went against people.
How many fighters were disciplined as a result?
We had to go to record for that.
You have no records?
We got to go to record for that, and the Secretary General will be coming here. Yeah, he was taking care of record.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You are welcome.
One, two, three. Thank you, Mr. Witness, for your presentation and for honoring our invitation to share with us your wisdom and understanding about the contemporary history of this country's past suffering time. I have some questions I would like to ask you also. The first one is, at what time did LERD decide to attack the duly elected government led by Charles Taylor? Was it immediately after his victory in elections of 1997, or was it later, or was it before? When was that decision made?
I forgot your name. Please give your name again. You go over your question, please.
Oh, sorry. My name is Gerald Coleman, Commissioner Coleman.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
the question again, at what point did LERD decide to attack the duly elected government led by Charles Taylor? Was it immediately after his victory in elections 1997, or was it later, or was it before? Thank you.
Anyway, I wasn't the first chairman of law. I wasn't there during the attack, the first attack. I wasn't the first chairman, and I wasn't member of law during the first attack. And after the election, when Charles Taylor was elected, I was in this country as a civil servant up to 2002 before I leave this country. So I don't have an idea about that. And so when I became chairman, this country was not truly democratic anymore, because the president, when I became chairman, the president was indicted. and there was a problem then. This government was not a stable government at the time. So we are a resistance movement. For me, my position, after the attack of Guinea, after the attack on Freetown, and Chancellor was indicted while he was still in the office of the president, and so I don't want you to be calling him during my term of administration a duly elected president at the time.
So are you saying that there was a time where you felt that Mr. Taylor was not the elected president of Liberia, and that was the time you attacked him?
How can you be a president if you are indicted? If you are indicted, you are not a president anymore.
What does that mean, please? When you are elected by the people of this country to be their president, you are no longer the president?
Why he left? His term was not over and he left. So he stayed president while he was in Nigeria because he was elected. Well, he stayed the president because his term was not over and he left this place. So how do you call that? He was not supposed to leave then because he was elected by the people.
No, I'm not. You see, maybe there's a misunderstanding of communication.
Yeah.
I'm just actually, for example, in 1997, there is no evidence of you being involved in gathering young people for members of LERD to attack this government?
No.
No evidence at all?
No.
Good. Okay, that's one point you're making. And then the second point is, you said your point of attack was only based after Mr. Taylor was indicted?
No, the attack took place, but I don't know. I wasn't a member at that time.
Okay, so when you were a member, what time were you a member? When did you get to hold the position as the head of LERD? What day and what month, what year?
After waging war and gaining Freetown and after being indicted.
So after the indictment is when you took over as head of LERD.
Yeah.
Is what you're telling us.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. The next one, you said you wanted Charles Taylor changed by any means. So, when was the decision made by the High Command of LERD that Taylor should be changed by military means and not by the political means? When did that decision come forward?
But you know very well you are in Monrovia, there were no political means could take Chancellor from here. You know that. You know that. You were here.
Let's dwell at that.
Were you here at the time when Chancellor was here?
Yes, I was.
You were here?
Yes, I was.
So when they used to beat the human rights advocates and think you were here?
Yes, I was.
Press people were being beaten, detained, without any charges. Were you here?
Yes.
Is that a government?
Oh, okay. So you're saying that because of the fact that he acted unconstitutionally and the Liberian people did not seek an impeachment on him, that you were justified now.
Every Liberian would have died. Everybody would have making an attempt to do any impeachment. Everybody would have died in this country.
Okay.
If there were any attempt to make any impeachment in this country while Chancellor were here, then we're going to be sorry for you. Just for an ordinary press making report, you are detained for that. Then you can make an attempt to carry on any impeachment exercise, then sorry for you. So it was gun to gun.
Okay, so the next one then, do you consider the action of LERD and Model as acts of treason and disloyalty, or as heroes and patriots of democracy, representing the many Liberian people around the world?
Why should we be charged for treason when there was no government on the ground? Who will be charging law? I don't want to talk for Model. Model has a chairman. So please don't ask me any question about Model. I'm here to answer questions about law.
So are you saying that LERD's action only took place in Liberia after the indictment? There was no subversive attack on this country in 1999, 2000, 2001, 2003.
I'm not aware of that. I'm telling you that nobody could charge us LERD because there were no. If the government is not acting upon the constitution of the country, then if you have a government that running police states, then what do we do?
So do you take the law into your own hands
If
as
the
a
government
group?
cannot provide security for somebody, what do? You take on to protect yourself. We were protecting ourselves.
Is that
we were a
justification?
resistant group. There was no security.
Is that justification for a group of Liberians to take the law in their own hands?
Nobody was taking law in their
treason?
hand. The government could not provide security for nobody. And that's it. And everybody wanted their own security.
So is that the justification you're giving?
Yeah, everybody know the role that LRD play in this country, and we risked our life, and we fought for a change, and we fought for democracy, we fought for reconciliation, and
etc.
And etc. That's our objective. Thank you very much.
Next. Do you have any proof that the vast majority of the Liberian people commissioned Lord to stage a coup against the state? In 1980, we were told, for example, that the Declaration of Intent was signed by over 65,000 Liberians plus, mandating PPP to force the elected government out of office. Does Lord have any kind of document like that with Liberian people signing and demanding such?
Yeah,
or just the idea of the free high command?
It wasn't written, but we received a rousing welcome in Monrovia where 10,000 people were jubilating.
So it was the indirect welcome of the 10,000 people.
Yeah, it was verbal. Anything is verbal, written, and verbal contract are all honor the same.
Okay, I see. Okay, just another political question. Are you aware that there is a legal democratic way to remove a leader from office without guns?
Yeah, but that's not a police state. Nobody can remove a police state under a democratic process. Yeah.
So you're aware, but you believe that we had a police state?
Yes.
What is the unique thing about this police state that is different from a democratic
state? So you were part
state?
of the government?
No, I wasn't.
But you said we.
I said, what is the unique nature of a police state as compared to? That's what I said.
Yeah, but were you not here when there was no freedom of speech, there was no freedom of press? Were you not here?
So is that the definition you're giving me, where the state takes away freedom of speech, freedom of press, etc.?
Yeah, but that will make a government to be.
But then that's all you have to tell me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think we'll finish soon today. Huh? I said we'll finish soon today.
Okay, next. While some...
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please understand, my questions are meant to understand the motivation, the process, etc. of what happened. They're not personal in any way. Okay?
You are welcome.
Next, while some may understand your motivation for picking up arms against the duly elected government of Liberia under the MPP leadership, who do you think should be responsible for the side damage done by Lord in the course of liberating the nation? For example, property damage,
and who is responsible for the democracy we have today?
Crime
the TRC we have here today. Somebody should be responsible for that also. Somebody should have the credit for that too.
Please, I'm asking you one question. You may tell me at the end that you want credit for something, but at least who do you think should be responsible for the damage?
Yeah, but also ask me a question, and also I want to know who should be responsible.
I will answer that later, but let me hear the first question.
If somebody is giving credit for fighting for democracy and putting the place, putting these structures, somebody risks their life for those things, the person should be rewarded and get credit. Then if you endorse that, then we can see who will get the reward for the damages that took place. Somebody will be held responsible, but not me, for the damage. Because if you go and damage somebody's property, you will be responsible. But we can do our investigation. I'm sorry the chief of staff is late. I would have called him here and said, but man, who damaged that place? And he would have told me, or I would have hold him responsible, but not me, because I wasn't there.
Okay, so you're saying that though you were the head and administered the process, you don't want to accept the responsibility for the consequences that came from that process. But you want the rewards only.
How can you take a responsibility for a Liberian that have an in-birth right? Can I take a responsibility for a Liberian?
No, you can't take responsibility for a process you administered as the head.
No, that was just a group. That was just a group that wanted to come back together. We just had one ideology.
Mr. Witness, just
okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, your noise is competing with us. We are not hearing distinctly. And the unfortunate thing is that all these things have been recorded for people after you 30 years from now to hear. And it looks so ugly. If you are listening to the radio, you know how you sound. You're just murmuring in the background. I'm sorry again, Mr. Witness.
So please, we were on the question of responsibility. I understand your heart for rewards, and like you said, the Liberian people rewarded you. 10,000 came out to greet you that day. But what about the responsibility? That's our mandate
Mr.
now.
Witness.
I don't want my reward to be a money. It could be.
Mr. Witness.
Yeah, okay. I'll give
Can
you
you please give him a chance to finish?
I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
See, we have been given a mandate to deal with accountability for these issues. So I'm just concerned, since you were head of a particular rebellious group, could you please tell me your personal opinion? Who do you think should bear the brunt of the responsibility for the consequences of the actions that were performed during your administration?
So if the chief of staff of this country kills somebody, the president will be responsible?
So are you saying that you should not, but your chief of staff should bear it? Who is that chief of staff? Give me his name,
If the chief of staff go and lawfully kill somebody, he will be responsible. Once the president does that, we didn't get order for that.
That is
we
true.
didn't sanction any killing. Nobody could come here and say, Sekous Damate order that I should be killed. Sekous Damate order that my father should be killed. Nobody, even to put in jail, nobody will come here and say, Sekous Damate order that I should go to jail. Nobody. I didn't even put nobody in jail. Neither to kill.
Excuse me, sir. You must understand, you said you have been a businessman, right?
Yeah.
That even though a head of a corporation may not give an order to do something, in the end, when that corporation is found liable, the head has to bear the penalty, though he has no responsibility for the action personally.
So if the chief of staff of the Republic of Liberia does something unlawfully, the country will be held liable? The president will be held liable for that? That's what you mean?
In the end, it can be. Another country may attack your country because your president made a mistake. It's possible. So let's deal with the question at hand. Who do you think should be responsible
for this case? If a minister has for corruption charges, then the president should not put the people in jail, right?
So I can only assume that you're trying to avoid answering this question. I'll move on to the next.
No, if I can't answer any question, I will tell you I cannot answer it. But I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to make reference. And I'm telling you that I cannot be held liable for somebody else's crime.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, if somebody goes against any individual, the person should come here and call the person's name. Okay. If somebody damage somebody's property, come here and call the person, this man damaged my property, then we can address ourselves to that.
First of all, sir, Mr. Witness, I did not say you should be responsible. I didn't say you should. I said who should be. So if you feel it should be the chief of staff or it should be the leader of battalion so-and-so.
But the chief of staff will have to identify the person since the owner don't know who did this.
So your answer is the chief of staff?
Yeah.
Okay, who is the chief of staff, please?
He's late. That's the problem.
But who was he?
The late Charles Dane.
Charles Dane?
Yeah, it's in the statement that my presentation is there. You don't have to write. It's there. You have copy, right?
Okay, and what was your position was what compared to the chief of staff?
Chairman. I'm the chairman.
You were the chairman.
The national
so you gave your
national political leader of LERD.
Okay, so as the chairman and political leader, you gave him the responsibility to do what he did, right?
He appointed me.
Or he appointed you?
That was a resolution.
Okay, so in essence, you consider yourself a figurehead then, and not an authoritative person. Is that, because you said you weren't the one who authorized him, but he put you there to hold the spot.
The people always elect the president.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, let's go to the next question.
Was LERD in any way supported by any other country or regional group, be it financial or moral support?
Lord was sponsored by Liberian living exile. Over 500,000 Liberians that were living in exile. They sponsor Lord.
So only Liberians.
Only Liberians.
So in no way did the government of Guinea support or assist Lord in this incursion into Liberia?
If it happened, it was not through me. It was not through, maybe it wasn't through me. So I'm not going to comment
Meaning
on that.
you don't know or
Yeah,
know?
I don't know because you know
Okay.
I came in late.
Thank you.
I wasn't the first. I wasn't the second. I wasn't the third.
Did you, after the ceasefire, take part in the power sharing that took place in this country with NTGL?
No.
So your group had no share in any...
No, we have share. I thought you were asking me personally.
Your group...
Five ministry was allotted to LURD. Five
Okay,
ministry.
that's what I meant, your group.
Yeah.
So you did take part?
Yeah.
But you personally didn't?
No,
Okay.
because I wanted to contest the election.
Did Lord, that was my next question. Did the former Lord restructure itself into a political party?
No, it wasn't formal law because most of the executive member of law were already member of different party in Monrovia here. So
Okay.
it wasn't LURD, but since I was a leader and the former fighter were looking up to me and wanted to carry on some transformation, I wanted a membrane to know that, look, there's no more LURD, we should be talking about an institution, and that was prudent were found. So now I will be happy, everybody should be calling me former standard bearer instead of former law.
Podia?
You see?
Oh, Prudent. Okay. So, as a head of a political party
Yeah,
in Liberia,
yeah.
and seeing the painful history that we've had with politics requiring men and women of arms to come and solve our problem because of the lack of moral will to follow the democratic constitutional process of removing incompetent leaders, unqualified leaders, what would you say now is the way to protect Liberia's future against the repetition of men and women of arms rising up again? How can we let the political system work? What is needed?
Yeah, but the arm wasn't taken to take over leadership. The arm was taken as a resistance movement for a change.
I know that part.
And we fought, you know, the transitional government were here. We didn't ask for anything. We were allotted 5 ministries just for peace.
I know, sir. You said
people should not take arm and go and carry on a coup d'etat. It wasn't a coup d'etat by us, and we wanted democracy put in place. That's what we were asking for, and that was the way forward. That was the best way forward. You know better than everybody here. You should know better than everybody here that we, Lord, did well. Prince Joseph said he wouldn't have come in this country if it was any LURD.
So we're finished with that part, and we're looking at the future now. What I'm talking about is we need to protect. Another mandate that is given to us by the people is to sort of promote security, to protect against the repetition of what happened in the past. We learned from your testimony.
I promise you that we'll support that. We have a good government, we have a democracy, and I promise you we always support that. There will be no more armed struggle into this country. We always speak against that.
We're concerned about how to prevent that. We don't want nobody to say, I will protect against it by bringing a gun again, but to say we will protect against it by allowing the democratic process as per constitutional article 2, I think it is, where it says the people have the right to change any leader by a democratic process of impeachment, which means to go through the House, get a referendum, and have the House remove the person if necessary. So how do we protect now that political parties today, people who are going to become our future leaders, will have the moral will to allow that process to work and not have somebody else like yourself come and say, but you know that time it couldn't work. So how are we going to make sure that it will work this time?
It will work because the government and the president is there respecting the Constitution of Liberia. So I can assure you that it will work and nobody will take gun under the kind of civilized government that we have now. Nobody will take gun and every Liberian will kick against you. But for us, Liberia welcome the idea.
Thank you very much. That's your answer. I appreciate that.
finish, huh? Oh, you coming back
Hello?
again? Coming back to you again?
Yes, we cannot call you Mr. Standard Bearer of whatever party because we supposed to look into things that happened up to 2003. So when you became Standard Bearer, it was in 2005. So for that reason, I'm sorry, we cannot refer to you as Standard Bearer.
Yeah, no,
under the law.
for you, I don't have problem. I'm talking about the press.
Okay, now.
Tomorrow, the press will still call me former law rebel. That's why
Yes,
I like to
because the position for which you hear now, the question, we're questioning you in that light.
No, with you, I agree.
And
about on and on and on and on. The law thing.
Mr. Chairman of LERD,
yeah, former chairman,
LERD,
for the disbanded law.
I see that you won your claim to fame for LERD and yourself that you helped to get Mr. Taylor out of the presidency, right?
No, we have to put democracy in place.
Democracy.
Yeah. I didn't take Chancellor from you. I'm not the one that took his place.
But you said that the purpose of LERD
was to make sure
it was an anti-movement to get Taylor out.
Yeah, to put democracy in place.
Yes. So I have my question.
You're welcome.
Did you were the spokesman too, did you talk over BBC when you were chairman of LERD? Did you talk over BBC? Did you ever several times?
CNN and all.
Okay, yes. Do you recall, because they asked where LERD were any external forces, and you know what your answer was? Do you recall then why were you thanking the Guinea government on BBC after the war?
What?
The Guinea government. And what was the appreciation to President Lassana Conte?
We thank the Sierra Leone government and the Guinea government for the cooperation that we have with them from that border. That border was never closed for us. But I'm not telling you about armed movement, nothing. But we had a cordial working relationship with the Sierra Leone border, cordial working relationship with the Guinea border, and we appreciated it, and that was it.
Can you say on an oath on the Quran?
I already took an oath.
Yes, and I reminded you of the oath that you took on the Quran to Allah, that during the time of LERD, no ammunition came from any of the borders
I'm not going to take
to
oath for
Liberia.
that. Because I wasn't the first chairman. I'm not going to take oath for that.
All right, you were not the first chairman, but when you were chairman from 2000
when I was
to
chairman,
2003,
I can take oath for that. But
from 2000, listen now.
It's possible that everything passed before I became chairman.
From 2000, no, I'm only asking your period. From 2000 to 2003. That the day the Accra Peace Accord was signed, there were no ammunition coming from either Guinea or Sierra Leone to the Liberian border from LERD, any of LERD agents or principal.
When I was invited for an international conference, I was allowed to travel my arm through Guinea and Sierra Leone.
With your single arm?
With my arm, my skirt, not single arm.
Your stocks?
My convoy arm.
Okay.
I was allowed when I was invited.
Mr.
I told her I needed my own security.
Mr. Former Chairman?
Yeah.
Mr. Former Chairman of LERD?
Yes. Disbanded.
So then, you submit, you agreed, and that you, as former chairman, did you carry a pistol or any ammunition or any ballistic?
Whenever I'm moving, I tell you as a chairman, the boys has the arm and they are moving with me, they are escorting me. I need a security. They have arm to the teeth. You're talking about single arm. How will I be moving and you say when I'm moving a single arm? I don't move a single arm. Over 50 men moving with me.
All right.
More than 50 when I'm moving.
Thank you.
And they are all armed.
Mr. Former Chairman of LERD, I want you to please refresh your memory. When they had a conference, did you play part or have any part LERD in the re-establishment of the transitional government in which Chairman Blah became president, your group, or were you part of the transitional group to come to establish this government for Blah, Chairman Blah to take over, President Blah?
Chairman Brian?
Blah, B-L-A-H, Chairman Taylor Moses Blah.
Give a question again about Blah.
You know,
I'm confused. I thought you were talking about
okay, yeah, when Taylor left, former president of Liberia, Taylor left.
Yeah.
There was a government that was put in place.
Black government.
Black government that he came back. Do you recall whether your organization, Lord, or you, or any of your group had something to do with the turning over or preparation for him?
I'm not sure of that.
Do you recall any meeting that you, as chairman, were to meet with Chairman Blah, Moses Blah, or in fact, I think October 1, 2003?
Yeah, when I came to Tottenham, bro.
Yeah, and you recall that at a red light there was some skirmishing, some problem with you, with your group, and the lawyer group there, and there were a lot of shooting and thing from red light into Monrovia. Do you recall?
Yeah, but don't say your group. Just say there was shooting, and I will make clarification.
Okay, that was with Lord. That's what I'm saying now.
And who?
And MPFL.
Yeah, now you get it straight. Because one person can shoot.
Because why I refresh your memory, you said you gave on a statement here like there were no shooting in Monrovia area. We learned, and I just want to refer you to the specific dates.
Yeah, but who did the shooting? When I left my Tottenham resident to visit Moses Blah.
Yeah, what happened?
I came on an attack. I was attacked.
Came on an attack.
Attack.
So what did your boys do? Your boys who you take for 50 boys with you ammunition. When you came on an attack, what did they do? You did it?
Were you on the scene?
I'm asking you.
Yeah, but your question is like you are talking like you were on the scene.
Because we supposed to be truth-telling, fact-telling, investigating, so we can be able to get the facts. That's what we have.
Tell me that something you heard or somebody told you, because you wasn't there. I am telling you, I was on the scene. And I was there. I was going to Moses Blah house.
Could you please tell me what happened?
Yeah, I was on my way to Moses Blah house and to recognize his presence on the ground. And the meeting was reconciliatory. We wanted to give the people confidence building, and I was going to a place, and the UN soldier was like, well, they were even escorting me. We came on an attack, and you know the commander that was escorting all the UN, the ECOMO commander escaped. He left the scene, and what I did, I turned my vehicle around, and I went back to Tottenham. If I were a troublemaker, we were going to fight him that day. But because I was so peaceful, and I was really determined for peace, I told the boys to fall back.
And no, now one gunshot came from your side.
Any situation about fighting.
Let the witness answer the question, please.
Any situation about gun firing and, about attack, for soldiers, even if you want to retreat, you don't want to fight, you have to shoot. So there was a shoot up there. There was a shooting incident. You wanted me to die?
No, I just wanted...
maybe you wanted me to die if you didn't want the law to shoot. I came on an attack. What do you want me to do?
Mr. Witness, you've answered my question. It was not that I wanted you to die. You answered the question that there was shooting, and I wanted to refresh your memory. I called the American ambassador because you have said there was no shooting in Monrovia with Lord. So you've answered my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And the next day when I saw Moses Blah at the executive mansion, I embraced him. I said, forget about those things. We wanted to forge ahead. We wanted peace. So these are the things we wanted. We were provoked, a lot of provocation, but we didn't want any problem. We just wanted the government to come and put the transitional government in place, and so Liberian people can be free. That's what we were fighting for.
I said thank you, but I want to ask one question since you talk.
You're welcome.
Are you aware, because they seem rumors, and we want to make sure that everything clear. Say we ask you question, you can answer. Were you aware ever on any documentary or anything that you already saw Lord people nailing somebody on cross?
No. We didn't see that. That didn't happen. I don't think that happened.
Thank you.
I didn't see that. That was, yeah. Yeah.
One last question I'd like to ask you, and that has to do with the decision-making processes within the context of your hierarchy. There were about 2 times when Alert forces advanced into Monrovia and went back. Do you recall that? You came to the port and you went back. Came back to the port again and you went back.
Yes.
Who made a decision in Alert to move back? Was it you or was it your military commanders?
That was a military tactic. We thought that would have made Chancellor to leave the country peacefully.
We know it was a political decision.
It was a military tactic.
To facilitate Taylor. But who made that decision? Was it you?
That was a military tactics.
I know it was military tactics.
That was not a political decision. That was a military tactics.
Who made a decision?
The military tactics, the chief of staff is the one that administered the military day-to-day affair.
So it was the chief of staff that made a decision to go back, and not you?
Yeah. How would I tell the chief of staff to go back? The only time I gave order when Chancellor leave, called the chief of staff and said, look, gentlemen, let's leave this thing. Chancellor is gone, and at least we have met over our goal. Let's leave this thing. Everybody go back. Everybody drop the gun. And there shouldn't be no more fighting. And that was my position. It was very clear. And I think everybody was very happy. You saw that. Although I didn't know you. You know, I'm new in politics, so a lot of people don't know me.
That was your position.
My position.
And not necessarily a command.
Yeah, not necessarily a command.
So in other words, the 2 times, all the decisions coming, they were all military decisions and you had no part to play in it.
Yeah, but that was not any harmful things that, clarification should be made on that. That was just an ordinary military tactic. That's not important. Let's go to a different thing. Yeah. Going to people and coming back is secondary. Let's talk different thing.
Thank you very much. But before I close, your name?
Sekous Damate Conneh, Junior.
What is Damate? Is it Madingo name or is it what?
The Pele name.
Is it a Pele name?
You're not from Bong.
I know you're from Bong, but is Damate a Pele name? Is Damate a Pele name?
It's a name anyway. It's a nickname. Damate is the nickname and my middle name.
How did that nickname originate?
It originated from my father. My father was Sekous Damate Sr. and I'm Sekous Damate Jr. And my father used to be a transporter. And there was a vehicle imported in this country by one Mr. Kuma. And my father was driving that vehicle. And that vehicle used to call Damate.
Damate vehicles, trucks.
Yeah.
And that's how your father got his name. And that's how you got his name.
That's how I got a nickname. And you see, I'm the only Damate I think so far in the world. It's difficult to come across any Damate.
Thank you very much.
So,
Mr. Witness, we want to thank you very much for coming and sharing with us. We want to believe that because of your intentions to support the work of the Commission, today will not be the last day. If there's any reason for us to get back to you, we will. And if you have any additional information or something else you want to share with the Commission, you also come to us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have my email or whatever. Even if I'm not in the country, if you need me, send for me, I will come.
We will collect your email so that we can be in touch.
It's on the statement. I gave it to you already.
Oh, it's on the statement?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I just want to clear an impression I'm gathering that even though you were the chairman of LERD, but you had no control on what happened on the field. Am I right to say that?
Yeah, but how will I have control over something that if you are not there? Can you control something that...
Ladies and gentlemen, please. Please. Sir.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to give some explanation for your question. And I also want to make reference to the structure of government, because you are familiar with the government structure more than the rebel structure. So when an incident occurred and the police, some arm of the police that take care of robbery, they rush on the scene, the president don't have to say go there.
But you see, I like your argument, but I want to draw a line.
Yeah, okay.
Civilian institutions are different from military institutions. So when you just speak of the government generally, you're talking about a civilian government.
But ours was civilian government. I told you I took military treaty.
Oh, you had a government?
No, I said our structure was a civilian structure. An organization is a de facto government.
Okay.
Every rebel movement is a de facto government. So our structure is similar to government structure.
Okay, I will take that answer. You were asked before about the leadership structure of LORD, and you only call Chief of Staff, Deputy Chief of Staff, and all of that. Can you tell us of the civilian leadership of LORD?
The civilian leadership, we have the chairman, vice chairman for operation administration.
Slow down. Who was the chairman at you? Who was the vice chairman?
I'm coming now. Let me give you the structure first, then come to the name.
Yeah.
I was the chairman. We have the vice chairman for operation, administration, and secretary general, legal advisor, and who again?
You tell also.
So you see, it's a structure. It's a complete structure. Military advisor.
Then you have military advisor.
Yes. Legal advisor.
Legal advisor.
We have legal people out there. Everything. So.
You had treasurer.
Yeah, we have treasurer.
You have spiritual leader.
We have chaplain, not spiritual leader.
Oh, chaplain.
We have chaplain. Two, one Muslim, one Christian.
Okay, so you were the chairman.
Yeah.
Who was the vice chair?
Two vice chair over there. One was operation, one was administration.
Two vice chair. Okay.
Yeah. Super who were operation. The late Chaido administration.
Chaido for administration. Yes. Secretary.
General is Joe Bala. He came in late.
Did you say general?
Secretary General. He came in late doing my administration. Isaac Yenabu was the first Secretary General.
Who was the first?
Isaac Yenabu, the pro temper.
Oh, he was the first Secretary General.
Yeah.
So then Joe Bala took over from him.
Yeah.
Okay. The legal advisor.
Cabinet Jana, Associate Chief Justice.
The current Associate Justice.
Yeah.
He was legal advisor.
Yeah.
Then the military advisor.
Joe Wale.
Your man.
Joe Wale was military advisor to the executive member.
Your military advisor to who?
The entire executive member.
The entire executive member. So who was the treasurer?
The treasurer, now we gotta go through our listing. Joe Bala, you gotta get Sidiki Toure, one Mr. Toure.
Okay, so look.
One Toure.
Moment I lose concentration, and that happens to the witness as well.
Yeah.
Or you distract the witness. The treasurer, you said the Secretary General will tell us, right?
No, post Sidiki Toure.
Who?
Sidiki Toure.
Sidiki Toure. Besides Chei, I guess all these people are still alive.
Yeah.
And then the two chaplains.
Well, one Vasayo Sharif. Vasayo.
Vasali.
Sayo. Yeah, Sayo Sharif.
Okay. That'd be Vasali Sharif. Then he was an imam?
No, he was chaplain.
He was the chaplain?
Yeah,
he had any religious authority, that's what I asked him about.
No, he was just a chaplain.
Just a member of LORD who was made chaplain?
Yeah.
Okay, then the other person?
And one James Quebo. Well,
James?
Yeah.
Quegua?
Yeah.
Quegua?
Yeah.
Was he a reverend?
Yeah. He was a strong church member.
So just
we don't got to go to the church and go take the reverend from there, can't become rebel imam. And so people were just member of law. And there were devoted people. You know, we selected the devoted people among us to become.
And put them in leadership.
Yes,
Okay,
in the religion side, so they can pray for us.
Apart from being your wife or your former wife, is there anything else you can say of Asha Conneh as far as Lord was concerned?
You know, she's alive. She was a strong woman. She was an executive member. But any other further information you want?
Oh, she was an executive member.
Yeah, she's available. But you should know that.
So she was just an executive member.
Yeah.
Were there any other executive members beside her? Besides these people who have position, because she didn't have any position,
Yeah,
right?
a lot of them. Yes, she didn't have position.
You can just call two besides her?
No.
Okay, we should ask
Bamba
you.
Conneh?
Bamba Conneh. Former councilman?
Yeah. George Well?
George Duell?
Yeah. There are plenty. But
Oh, plenty, okay.
there are plenty.
Joe Bala will give us a list. Right?
Yeah, Joe no roti there.
Okay, okay.
So,
There is a very popular name with Lord. I don't know if you know this, Fighter K1. Do you know K1 as a member?
I know him.
You can tell us anything about him or what you know of him up to now?
What do you want to know about him? Can't be exact because I know him, but I don't know what you want to know about him. And he was lost fighter. But if anything you want to know about him, if I know, I will tell you. If I don't know, I will refer you to somebody else.
Well, my information may not be correct,
Yeah.
but there is a general understanding he was one of the commanders across the breach.
Yeah.
And I think he controlled a mortar. And that because of the sharing, I think someone in the leadership, whose name I will not remember, ordered his arrest or his execution, and he ran out of Liberia. I could be wrong. What's
Yeah.
it?
He was not the one that controlled the mortar. We had a trained AFS soldier who used to control that mortar. It wasn't K1.
There was a trained AFL soldier who was controlling the mortar.
Yeah, former AFS soldiers. AFS soldier. A soldier is always a soldier.
You know his name?
Joe Bala, you can't be called out by name.
Okay, Joe Bala will call his name. So,
Joe Bala, take better trouble. Joe Bala, you gotta get prepared. So,
ladies and gentlemen, please, can we have it a little bit quiet, please? So, there was an AFL personnel who was controlling the mortar.
exactly.
Do you know where the mortar was mounted?
Bombe Hill, everybody was in Bombe Hill. We're coming from Bombe Hill. You know that mortar, you can't hold it in your hand, you be moving all around. But from Bombe Hills, until we came to Freeport, but you know the mortar won't come to the front. Nobody will bring mortar to the front. So nobody tell you mortar is a front line something, no. So that mortar didn't cross the Freeport.
You sure about that?
Yes.
But you
It's
can't.
not a front line arm, you can only carry long range and
I know.
the heavier weapon you carry on the closer front line is the RPG. That's it.
Jamaica Road is before Freeport, right?
Yeah.
You know whether K1 is still alive?
Yeah, K1 is alive.
Do you know whether Asha Conneh had any connection or relationship with the president of Guinea?
Yes, that's the adopted child. She's the adopted child of the president of Guinea.
She's the adopted child of the president of
Of
Guinea.
Guinea.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like us to talk about the organization itself. Can you tell us the fighting strength of Lord at the time of disarmament?
Close to 13,000 men.
How many?
Close to 13,000 men.
Close to 13,000. Thank you very much. What was the highest military rank in Lord, if you know?
Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General.
Lieutenant General.
The Chief of Staff was a Lieutenant General.
How was the ranking done? Were you the ones who promoted people
and
at
my
whatever rank?
AD-Ken was a Lieutenant General because I didn't want my AD-Ken to be subject to the Chief of Staff.
I understand that. How did your AD-Camp get that rank?
I promulgated that rank for him.
You promulgated a rank for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you promulgated a rank for every other
Well,
ranking
the chief of
officer.
staff was already a lieutenant general when I joined it, when I took over. So the whole rank was already promulgated for previous chairman before I can get there. You understand?
The rank of AD camp was already established. Is that what you're saying?
No, I created that for my own security.
You created that.
But the chief of staff and the deputy chief of staff,
And every other person.
yeah, those rank were already promulgated before I became chairman.
So besides your AD camp, you didn't appoint anybody in terms of
The
rank?
structure was there, the rank was there, those guys were there.
So to the best of your knowledge, do you know how officers were promoted and given ranks in your
I
organization?
am telling you that the chief of staff, deputy chief of staff were all there in the commanding general. They sat down and wrote resolutions signed with their various ranks and position. You know, appointing me as a chairman. So I couldn't come back and start to change those people. So they were there. And they were enjoying
Where was
their position.
the headquarters of Lord? I remember you saying you were in Lofa for some time.
The military headquarters were bombing in Hills. The political headquarters were Vonjama. I was there. I used to live in Vonjama. And long all the executive members, somebody that called said military advisor didn't want to come and live in Vonjama. They wanted to be in Conneh, waiting for Western Union money.
Prior to the establishment of the headquarters in Bombing and in Vonjama, do you know where the headquarters were?
I think the headquarters were in Kolahu. From Kolahu. Yeah, Kolahu was the first headquarters.
That's where both military and civilian headquarters were.
No civilian headquarters were there at that time. That was a front line at that time. No civilian headquarters can be installed at the front line.
So immediately the front line was established, you established a headquarters there on the front line.
Once Vonjama was clear, there were no more shoot-up, there were no more military target around there. Then I went and created the political headquarters there. And they moved their headquarters to Bombing Hill. And after Bombing Hill was the front line. So there were no fighting around Vonjama.
Would I be right to say that you were not a founding member of Lord?
Yeah, I wasn't a founding member of law. And I don't want that credit now. Yeah.
What's about child soldiers?
Yeah, I told you over and over, I told the body here that I spent my money in Vonjama to discourage child soldiers. And I had a school there and we're forcing children to go to school. Dustin World College can attest to that school because he went to Vonjama with an invitation for a meeting that was to be held in Uwakaduku. He went to Vonjama and we told him we had a school. He said he wanted to see it, he wanted a tip. And we tipped, we video it, we gave it to him. He can attest, he went to Vonjama, he saw the school there.
What's about the use of drugs
Drugs?
by men on the front?
No, I don't know about drugs, but we had a clinic in Vonjama and we used to we used to go take our treatment there. Everybody go take treatment there. That drugs in there. My hand in the white. The chief of staff there, the Soya people used to do that one in the bush. I'm not aware of that. If it used to happen in the bush. Because even cigarette smoke, I don't smoke. Even ordinary cigarette, I don't smoke. I'm a sober man. I don't take anything.
I'm not really talking about you. I'm talking about your forces.
But
on the
anything you
front.
don't take, you won't be part of that. So you won't know much about it. Something that you can take, then you get experience in that.
Can you tell us at the time Lord surrendered or was deserved, how many prisoners of war you had, if you had any?
The prisoner of war then were Bolegal to me.
Only one prisoner of war.
Yeah, all the boys that were captured from the bush, and there was a brigade. Joe Bala, that brigade in forever. So you see, all the guys that we captured, all the prisoners of war, we didn't want to keep them on the front, so brought them to Vonjama to put the security of Vonjama. I was living there with them. So there was nothing like all the chancellor, MPF fighters, the chancellor fighting there around the Vonjama, they had guns, they were fighting for us.
Just a minute, Mr. Witness. I don't want you to talk.
We didn't have anybody in jail.
Let's wait for our masters to give us a go ahead to continue.
Yeah, when Genghis Khan came,
Just a minute, sir,
okay,
please.
Okay.
1 minute.
And people are listening. They get this thing clear.
Please proceed.
There were nothing like prisoner of war. When the people come, we recruit them. We say, look, this is Liberia thing, this is everybody thing, and they just join their friend. But some of them were afraid they didn't want to go to the front, and before people go against them, so there will be infringement on the highway there to put on security. And people were just lively. The thing was just for everybody. Just what Liberia people think. Just were not for a particular tribe or a particular group. Because you work with chancellor, you cannot work with us. Or because you are a former chancellor soldier, you can't. This thing comprises of former MPFL people, former Model people, former Udumoke, former Udumoje. They were all one. They were all together there. So a captain man for chancellor, when he come, people used to cross from chancellor side, go through Abrako, enter Guinea, and come join the law forces. And there was strong fighter of chancellor. They would come and nothing happened to them. And they would go there. So, there were Liberia people too. Yeah.
What role did juju and rituals play in the Lord War?
Say that again.
Juju, you know what we call juju?
Juju?
Yeah.
I'm a Muslim, I'm a godly man. And I don't believe in juju, but I believe in prayer, I believe in offering, I believe in sacrifices. I don't believe in juju. Because in Bonyama, sometimes I call children, I give them biscuit, candy, and I say, God bless us. That's it. Those are the things I believe in.
So your fighting foes also were religious people, they didn't believe in juju?
Yeah, sometimes people had a dream, people had a vision that you kill a sheep and we just do a sheep sacrifice. Those are the kind of things we believe in. But we don't believe in juju. I don't know that juju thing, I don't believe in it. I personally don't believe in that, so I won't be part of that. Yeah.
Well, the fighting forces under Lord, were they uniform?
No, not 100%. Some of them have this. The commander they used to arrange for their own.
Only the top brass had uniform.
And one time uniform used to come from overseas and come to us for a few people, not for everybody. 12,000 men, the rebel who will get uniform for the one. So only a few. The top brass. They used to wear.
So only the top brass were.
Yeah, only the top brass. There was no supply of uniform. There was no float of uniform. No.
Have you ever affiliated or associated with the Progressive Alliance of Liberia, PAL?
Yeah, we used to be. No, PAL, no.
What's about United People's Party?
Yeah, during our school days, those are the party that we used to give our support to in this country.
I didn't hear you.
During our school days, those are the party that we used to give our support to.
The Progressive People's Party?
Yeah, yeah.
You were an official, right?
Yeah, I was just an active member.
Active member. You coordinated a branch of that party?
Yeah, something like that. Yes, in the Lee War. In the Lee War.
Okay, stand-up bearer, Sekous Damate Conneh.
I like that.
I want to tell you thank you very much for coming to the commission and for taking up your time to share your experience with us.
Thank you.
Now that your testimony before the commission is over, do you have anything finally to say to the Liberian people or the commission?
Anyway, thank you very much. As I earlier said, that not only to come and appear before TRC, but I came to give my support to the TRC. And I appreciate the thanks and the reception from you. And I also wanted the same thing from the Liberian people. At least a movement could be built for Sekous Damate Conneh as a liberator. I would have enjoyed that. So I just want to urge my political colleagues that we all should give support to the young democracy we have, and nobody should undermine the process. When our other the country will be hearing about small attempted and problems, small problems, and we want people to do away with this thing, and we should support democracy. Anybody want to become the president of this country, you have all right to contest the coming election. Nobody will stop you.
Just a minute, sir. Please wait. Ladies and gentlemen.
Chairman, you're listening to this. I'm almost finished. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen. You are walking out with respect. If you do that quietly, please. The program is not over. The witness is still on the stand. And I will seize this moment to announce a security measure beginning tomorrow. There will be more as we progress Tomorrow, except for TRC staff, TRC partners, and officials of government, anybody coming in should come properly identified with an ID. If you don't have an ID card, you won't be permitted in the hall tomorrow. That will be the first measure. And if our conduct doesn't improve, there will be a second measure. So tomorrow, please bring your ID card with you and have it on your chest so that you'll be properly identified. So we beg you, let the witness conclude so that we can close and we all leave. Mr. Witness.
I thank you again, and I want to use this occasion to urge my colleague to support this young democracy. Anything that will derail this process, no Liberia should be part of that. And we all should support, and we are very happy our people are living peacefully and are being out of the country, and I'm very concerned about this country. We are concerned about the Ganta Hapo Highway, the Banda Medikoma Highway, the bridge, the Vatan Bridge, and those are the things that we're concerned about. And want every Liberian, every political leader to support the development of this country. And our people at ESR, they want to come back home peacefully. And some preparation need to be made for them. And these are the recommendations that we have. And the government is for every one of us. And we are prepared to support this government. Young democracy in Liberia come from war. And we are praying for lasting peace and reconciliation. And we want to tell our people up there in other Leeward country that look, we are all Liberian and we should just hold together and forge ahead and forget about the past. People make mistakes. But we should be talking about how to develop this country. Yeah, if you travel to Freetown, you travel to Guinea, you travel to the neighboring country, then you are feel bad. Look at Sierra Leone right here. They have electricity and we don't have electricity. And this country is far older than that country and rich more than that country. So these are the things that, disturbs me if I travel, especially in the sub-region, because I can't compare Liberia with Europe. But when I'm in the sub-region and I see the country develop, our country is behind, and people keep talking about war, people keep talking about conflict, people keep talking about other things, power, and this is not the time to talk about campaigning or presidency. We should support the government on the ground. And we are supporting democracy. Even if you have problem with the president, but it's not a president you are supporting the government, your people, and you are supporting democracy. And I can tell you, people, because of my background, the government may not trust me 100%, people may not trust me, but I trust myself. And I will recommit myself to the peace process of this country. I won't be part of anything that will undermine and derail the process that Liberian people are enjoying today, the peace they are enjoying. I won't be part of anything that will undermine the process. I'm telling you, if I have any other ambition in this country, we are going to wait for the 2011 election. And I tell you, so we all should work to support. If you can't work in the government, you would have given moral support. When I was out there, every investor I talk to, I tell them we don't have light. We have problem. We need this in our country. Can you help? If it is possible, I will recommend to the government. It don't have to be me. So these are the kind of arrangements we are doing out there. Because we love our people and we love our country. We want to be here. But most of the youth, they are not working. And they didn't have the opportunity of going to school because of the war. So it's difficult to employ them. But I think the government should have a program and force the investor to employ some of them. And let there be a program and a recommendation for those groups. Because if the man is hungry and he's ashamed and then he's vexed. So we don't want any angry mob in this country, people, a lot of youth, and these people having war experience for so many times. So there should be a program for them. And job recommendation. And the investor come, metal steel there. Let some consultation be with some of the former leaders who know some of them. They go work. There can be security there. But if it's on the street like that, every day we get armed robbery, people dying on the street, some measure got to be taken. The government can handle this thing professionally without spending money. So, but we are here and our services are available. The government need advice and consultation for us. We can advise them, and we need peace in this country. And those things will reduce the armed robbery and the crime rate easily. So those are my recommendations and my advice, and I can tell you whether I'm here or not, I will support peace. And peace is my dream. And as you all know, I'm a liberator already in this country. So I can't go against my own effort. We cannot go against our own effort. It's democracy that, well, let me tell you something. After the election, I was the first man who came on radio and recognized the election result. I was one of the first who came on the international wire and said, look, I accept, after losing the election. And you know what I did? I didn't stop there. The inauguration eve, I spent my own money and had a party on the Vietnam Bridge. Some of the press people were there. Inauguration eve, I spent my own money, more than $25,000 to have the party because I was happy. And that's it. So these are the things that we want. I don't have to work before I can be happy. So, but once our people in the country happy, we are happy. And we want to always remain to be a true liberator. That's why we are not desperate. Everybody want to work. Everybody want to make money. But I don't want to be so desperate for the people think my intention was to work and that's what we're doing. I want to prove to the people that we can do other business to sustain ourselves. And I have my own private company registered in this country called Itamag. And I'm doing my small business on the side to sustain. And I'm mostly involved in real estate. So, and that's my position. And I'm not too greedy for anything. I'm a man who believes in predestined. I said that earlier. And I know what God has for me because I suffer in this country too much. And everybody is enjoying from the risks and suffering that we did in this country. So God is the one who's going to pay me. It don't have to be the government. It don't have to be individual. Because if the people can even say thank you, it's no problem. But God will pay me. I know one day in this country. So I thank you all.
Thank you very much. You have the permission of the commission to leave now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, thank you. I can leave now.
Okay. Yeah, I will give you one.